Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix. Oh yes, we're back. Formula One is back from its summer hiatus, I suppose is the better word there. It's summer break, as they like to call it, and we're ready to go racing once again, and it looks like we are in for a weekend of McLaren domination, but we'll get into that shortly. Hope you all had a good time over the summer. I'll do some shout-outs in chat in just a moment, so get your hellos in there and let me know where you're watching from. We'll do some shout-outs in a moment. But yeah, hope you enjoyed your summer. I did not a lot really, a lot of houseworky DIY stuff because, you know, grown up now, so I suppose I ought to. So I didn't really go anywhere, but it was just nice to not have to do anything, quite frankly. So nice and relaxed, but refreshed and ready to go for what is going to be a chaotic end to the season. We've got 10 races to squeeze in between now and Abu Dhabi on December the 7th, I believe, is the finale date. So a long old way to go yet, and a title to decide as well. And if Kevin's here, I'm sure he's very excited about the Constructors' title as well, even though that looks like it is pretty much all but wrapped up. So yeah, hope you had a good summer. Ready to go again. I did put a poll in the chat as well, so please do vote on that. Which team will take pole position for tomorrow's race? I've thrown a curveball in there. McLaren currently have 83% of the vote. Right now, it's probably going to be McLaren. Mercedes on 9%, Red Bull on 3%. And Aston Martin on 6% because they've looked pretty rapid up until this morning. So I thought I'd throw them in there. And Ferrari are, you know, the summer break, they're not supposed to touch the cars or do anything, but somehow Ferrari have turned up worse than they were in Hungary. So I don't know what they did over the summer, but it didn't work, whatever their plan was, because it hasn't worked out, because the car's dreadful. They've been nowhere this weekend, particularly Lewis Hamilton down on 1.4 seconds off the pace. I'll run through the FP3 times in just a moment. So yeah, not a great weekend for Ferrari, so not really hoping for much. Hey to Mavith, hope you're well. Ewan says Bottas and Perez driving for Cadillac in 2026 is a good choice. They have 527 Grand Prix and 16 race wins between them. We'll talk about that in a bit, I'm sure, Ewan, but I hope you're well, mate. Michael says, morning, Sean, good to have you back. Thank you, Michael, glad to see you. Hope you're having a good summer and a good chill since we last spoke. Good life generally, I suppose. Pascal, good afternoon, Sean and chat. I hope everyone had a good summer break, and I am happy that we are back racing. Absolutely. Hey, Pascal. Hey to... Is it Vadika? Says, literally praying for Ferrari. To be honest, mate, I think prayer is all we've got right now, but you never know. Lee, hey, Lee, hope you well, mate. Jithu, hey to Jithu too. Says, missed you, man. Missed you too. Missed you all, really. Deep down inside. Fud, it's almost as if we were never gone. Exactly, you're still here. Hey to Tim as well. Says, has Verstappen passed his career peak? That's probably a conversation for later or another day, but we'll see if we can get onto that one. But... if he's got a car capable of winning, he'll win race. I'm pretty sure of that one. And Jithu also adds that, will it even rain? They edged us with the forecast too much, man. Yeah, that's how it feels, doesn't it? It was supposed to rain much of the weekend, and I think it was quite a heavy downpour this morning, but nothing as of yet really significant enough to concern us going into qualifying. I'm kind of relieved a little bit because I've got my parents coming this evening with their dog, because we're having their dog for 2 weeks again because they're on holiday. Again. I'm joking. It's fine. They can have as many holidays as they want. They've worked their life. They can get on with it. I enjoy it. But so I kind of need to fly off after the stream, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, hopefully not too many delays at least. You know what they're like with rain. Not that they're racing the rain, so I suppose we don't want any really, do we? But anyway, I'll run through the FP3 times. I'll keep an eye out for any other names cropping up for the first part of the stream, but we are 22 minutes away from the start of qualifying, so hopefully we're gonna have a cracker. It looks tight behind the McLarens. Sort of at the moment we're looking like Norris, then Piastri, and then everybody else. But Norris topped FP3 this morning, 108.972. Also topped FP2 and topped FP1. So looking very good, of course. Last year's winner, 2.5 tenths, a quarter of a second back to his teammate in second place. And then George Russell is 6.5 tenths further back in third place. Carlos Sainz missed that this morning, fourth place, half a tenth off George Russell, with Max Verstappen in fifth. Actually, to be fair, and the same goes for Charles Leclerc in sixth. Given the weekend they've had up until this morning, that's not actually bad for those two, to be fair. Alex Albon not far behind in seventh, with Lance Stroll in eighth and Isaac Hadjar ninth, with Fernando Alonso in 10th. So 1.2 covers the top... I'm doing maths now. 1.2 covers the top 10. 1 second covers second to 10th, and then you've got 6 tenths covering the rest, pretty much. Yeah, so it's close. 4 cents actually. It's close out there. That's what I'm saying. Behind the McLaren's. Lawson 11th, 1.3 off Tsunoda. In 12th place, half a tenth behind Lawson. Bortoletto 13th. Hamilton, as I say, down in 14th and a whopping 1.4 off the fastest time. Bearman 15th, Hulkenberg 16th, Antonelli 17th, Ocon 18th, and it's the Alpines at the back. Gasly 18th, and Franco Colapinto just less than a 10th off his teammate in 20th place. Should say Ocon and Bearman were on the hard tyres towards the end of that session, so I don't know if that was the fastest tyre they used, but that might explain some of that. But Haas looked okay. A couple of things to clear up as well. Or one major thing, George Russell's been given an official warning, and Mercedes has been given a fine for that bizarre moment with Fernando Alonso. If you didn't catch it this morning, Alonso on a hot lap, George Russell on an in-lap, we think, was on the left-hand side on the start-finish straight, came across to take to the pit lane, but Fernando had already decided to try and go round him on the right-hand side, and they very nearly had a bit of an airplane crash there. So, fortunately, a lot of experience there, and Fernando Alonso backed out of it, but that could have got very nasty. So, few people on social media, and it will surprise you that people on socials get angry, I know, not happy. They feel George should have got a penalty. We rarely see sporting penalties, don't we, and do we in practice, apart from something like Bearman at Silverstone, where he broke the red flag rules, which was kind of a slam dunk, to be fair. So, not surprised by a warning and a fine. Nothing to do with his passport. It's completely consistent with pretty much anything else we see in practice. So, there you go. Just thought I'd make that point. Hey, to Annette, hope you're well, Annette, and doing well. Generally, William is here as well. Hey, Williams says Max in danger of repeating Vettel career. I can't ever say this word. Trajectory. I can't say that word very well. Sorry, William, but yeah, let's wait and see. Like I say, I think if Max Verstappen has a car capable of winning, he will win races. So let's see what happens. Really intrigued by next year. Although the more I hear about it, the worse it seems to get. Apparently, they're going to be restricting. Correct me if I'm wrong, electrical power at some tracks like Monaco and Baku, so the cars can't be too fast or whatever. I didn't read it properly. I just sort of read the headline and read the first sort of blurb, the outline of it, and didn't really get into the technical detail of it, but I sort of thought, okay, cool, great. That's what we want, innit? Russell didn't technically do anything wrong. There's no specific rule saying to stay right when pitting. It was just careless. Team fine was right, says Fudd. Yeah, the only thing that you have to question is, and Karun Chandok, I'm not a huge Chandok fan, but Karun Chandok is spot on when he says that if you're going slowly, get off the racing line. I think that should be in the regulations, but how on earth do you police that? We already have this safety car rule, don't we? You can't go below this certain time, but then they've got this big loophole that is, I was slowing down to let someone through. So I mean, how do you define slow? How do you define off the racing line? Just policing things would just be impossible on that front. So part of it. Hey Yinka, hope you're well. Just bring back V10s or V8s if racing ain't going to be great anyway. I suspect, without getting into it too much today, I suspect, William, that longer term we'll end up back with normally aspirated V8s eventually. I think it's where they're trying to push with just the fully sustainable fuels or whatever, and let Formula E do the electric thing, let WEC do the hybrid thing, let somebody else do the hydrogen thing, and let's just have different things. We've got over plenty of time, so I'm not going to get straight into a moan today, but yeah. Any questions for me today? It's been a while since we last spoke, so I think we'll do a little bit of a Q&A sort of thing, or I'll just read your comments for the next sort of 15 minutes while I wait for the session to get started. A little bit of time after the stream as well to sort of digest what we've just witnessed, which is probably going to be a papaya poll again. We will do predictions as well shortly, but yeah, I feel like quite a quiet summer break. I know it's a summer break and things do shut down, so you would expect it to be quiet, but usually in the gap we get something happens. But I suppose with quite a static driver market, maybe that's why we're not getting quite so much news at the moment. We're really waiting on Mercedes to confirm their lineup. Red Bull have essentially said they won't make a decision until the end of the season, so we can forget about that, which means it's all about that second Alpine seat really, because McLaren locked down. Let's run through the order. McLaren locked down. Mercedes will be Russell and Antonelli. Williams are locked down. Ferrari are locked down. Aston are locked down. Sauber to become Audi, they're locked down. Haas are locked down. Yeah, it's just Alpine and Red Bull aren't making decisions at the end of the season. I suspect Alpine will wait until after Abu Dhabi as well to make a call on what they're doing for next year. So it's going to be a bit dead on the driver transfer front, but we were kind of expecting that given the big rules change, because the last thing, and I think this is why last year was so busy on the driver market, because there's not really you've got a lot to focus on for 2026 with the new regs. The last thing you need to be worrying about is your driver lineup. So I think that's why it's so quiet. Get it all done last year, and then you set up for next year. And then a big shuffle next year for 27, I'm sure, because people will feel like they're at the wrong team and they're not happy, and things will change. We'll see. But yeah. Do you rate Zandvoort as a track? Personally, not a fan of it, says Siggy. For side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel action and the possibility of overtaking, no. As a sitting on board with a driver for a flying lap, absolutely. I really love that part of the track. I think it offers better racing than perhaps we think at times. You know, it's not quite as bad as, say, Monaco, for argument's sake, what is. But I think it's a good track. It's an enjoyable track to watch the drivers race on. But I appreciate not everybody watches for that. So it's one of those tracks where qualifying is quite enjoyable. But if rain does come tomorrow, I mean, look at 2023. Is that that season, the 23 Dutch Grand Prix? Doesn't that hold the record for most overtakes in F1 history in a race? I know it was because we had drivers on dry tyres on a wet track and people on inters overtaking them, but it was still an exciting and dramatic race. And if we can have a repeat tomorrow of that, we'll all be big Zandvoort fans again, won't we? Penultimate race here, of course. Next year it's final season. Let's say for now on the calendar. You never know, in 20 years time it might be back again. There was a big gap last time, wasn't there? So but for now, game over for Zandvoort after next season, so I'll enjoy it. I love the banking at turn 3. Karun is just looking at it now on the sky pad, and the lines that we see through there, and the cars look fantastic, but I get that it's not maybe the best for racing. Yeah, not really suited for modern F1, says Sighted Canvas. The problem is, though, we talk about Zandvoort, Imola are good examples of tracks that aren't good for modern day F1, but then we go to tight and twisty street tracks because that's where the money is, and it's like, well, is that good for modern day F1 when it comes to racing? Maybe not. I think they were showing the chaotic 30 seconds in FP1 yesterday where everyone all of a sudden decided to crash out of nowhere. So yeah, we'll do Perez and Bottas in just a second. Pascal, who will finish 5th in the Constructors. I hope it all goes down to the wire in Abu Dhabi. I think Sauber have got a great shot, Pascal. Not just saying that because it's you, mate, but I think they've got a great shot at this. They're in a fantastic place at the minute, and I put the comment in my Isaac Kadjar is a surprise of the season video. Pinned it just to make sure you all knew that I was aware he exists. But Gabriel Bortoletto very much in that conversation now, I feel. And if he carries on as he is, then Sauber in great shape. So I think they've got a great shot. Williams hold the cards at the moment, of course, but they look better this weekend, but they seem to crap the bed. Williams sometimes at the minute. So I think Sauber have got a great shot at that one. I really do. Are Ferrari smart or brave enough to get rid of both their driving engineers for 2026? That's from Quinn. Hey, Quinn. No. Brave enough, maybe. Smart enough, probably not. You know, it's debatable, isn't it? Sorry. I know I'm in a Mercedes shirt, but I'm allowed to criticise Ferrari because I'm a Ferrari fan. I just love this merch. I've actually ordered another one of these so I can wear one for streams and one for lounging around the house. It's just nice and comfy. Anyway, let's talk Perez and Bottas then. Why not? We've got 12 minutes to start the session. I'm not smug because I'm not a smug person. Although I will admit I do quite enjoy an I told you so moment from time to time. They don't happen very often, but I do enjoy them. I'm very happy about the fact they've gone with Bottas and Perez because I was right. I said pretty much from the off this season when we're talking about the Cadillac driver lineup that the sensible way to go when you consider how much they've got to do for next season. This isn't the same as, say, Brawn taking over from Honda, but then Mercedes taking over Brawn or something like that. This is a brand spanking new team being built from the ground up, and the last thing you need to worry about is mentoring a rookie and hoping that rookie can get up to speed. And you don't want your car in the wall every weekend. You need drivers who you know can have proven they can deliver results, have experience to cope with the pressures of Formula One, and are, whilst they may have the odd crash, are unlikely to be in the barrier 3 times a weekend. So that's the last thing you need when you're a new team. Your focus needs to be on getting your team organised, getting everything in shape, getting the car where it needs to be, updates on the car, which that experience will also prove invaluable for. It's just common sense to me. It just makes so much sense. I would have loved to have seen somebody like an Alex Palou, or if he could have got a license, someone like a Colton Herta, or even coming back into sort of European racing, a Felipe Drugovich. Somebody, I'd love to see someone like that get a chance, but for a brand new team, for a season or two, Perez and Bottas with all that experience just made so much sense to me. So I'm really pleased they've done that. They've given themselves the best chance at succeeding. I don't know what success looks like in your first season. I suppose as long as it's not as bad as BAR in 99, it's not too bad, I suppose. But or a Stoffel Van Dorn. Thank you, Ian. Exactly, Stoff. But if they could pick up a few points next season, they've got the right, or a car capable of doing so. They've got the right drivers to do that for them. So it just made a lot of sense to me. I'm really pleased to see Perez back. Happy to see Bottas back. I have to play into the Sean hates Bottas thing a little bit more next season now, because it does annoy some people. I don't know where it came from, but people really think I loathe the guy, but I don't. But yeah, pleased to see them both back. Good for Cadillac. Interested by the fact they pretty much batted away any suggestion Christian Horner would be there at any point soon. No, that was quite a clear statement, wasn't it? Long story short, no was the answer. So it's interesting. Maybe he'll end up at Alpine. I know Flavio Briatore said yesterday that he's not going to be there, but his exact words were for the moment. So a bit like, I have no intention of, but that doesn't mean that I won't. I just have no intention of doing it. It doesn't mean I won't do it eventually. So there you go. But no, I think it's a good lineup. As well, you've got to think as well, Perez, and it's not the only reason he's there, of course it isn't, but he brings a lot of money with him and a big fan base. And Mexico is just going to be whatever colour their car is next year, that's what the grandstands will be. It's going to be packed. So they're going to get a bit of money out of this as well as all that experience. So just sensible, just a sensible move. And Annette says, and I completely agree, says, to me it makes Cadillac look like a serious team. Exactly. If they come in and sort of brought in 2 American drivers, great, but would that have been more about gimmick is maybe the wrong word, but that I can't think of what the word I'm looking for, but more of a gimmick rather than actually wanting to be part of F1. What I also like about Cadillac is they're being realistic. Now, it's been 26 years. Jesus. So I may be misremembering, but I seem to recall when BAR came in and took over Tyrrell, they were very much talking about big challenges in their first season. They didn't score a single point. I think Villeneuve finished about 3 races that year. It wasn't quite that bad, but it was pretty bad. And they were very much talking themselves up, whereas Cadillac are being very reasonable in that, we're going to be new, we've got to get up to speed. Bottas and Perez both saying they are aware and they are completely comfortable with the fact that it's going to take a bit of time. I like that. There's no under promise and over deliver. Maybe it's a bit pessimistic, but that's how I would view it if I was in their position. That's what they're doing. So really happy. I hope that they do well. I don't want them to go the same way as other new teams have gone. I don't think we will, because they've got major manufacturer backing, but I don't want them to go the same way as an HRT or a Manor Marussia, or they were Virgin first, weren't they? And then became Manor. Was it Virgin, Marussia, and then Manor? I think it was, yeah, in that order. Or Lotus that became Cadillac, or some. Let's see them do well. Hopefully, it's just nice to have the name I like saying Cadillac as well. I don't know what it is. Hey RC, hope you well, mate. Sorry, I missed you earlier. Yeah, the purchase was approved. Don't worry about that. I didn't go to Magaluf, mate. I did no holiday. Well, I'll tell you what I did, right? I went out for a couple of days out, but the one I went for, which is going to be so closing in on 40, you won't believe it. Went to the garden centre for the day, which was nice. I've really got into indoor plants and things. So downstairs looks like a jungle at the moment. So yeah. That's about and we listen to Radio 2 all the way as well, just accepting it now that it's around the corner. Hey Nick says, good morning, why did they not allow BAR's 55 livery in 99? It was stunning. Hey, had a good winter, Nick. Good to see you again. I unironically quite like the BAR zip livery looking back. At the time, it was like, what on earth have you done? Looking back, it's kind of iconic, and maybe that's not a good thing, but I do quite like it. So, but the 555 livery was stunning. Yeah, I agree with that. That would have been amazing. I don't know why we can't have... I think, was it Bernie that said the problem is the grid would look like a pick and mix? Or that might have been a Brundle line. Actually, it does sound very Martin Brundle, doesn't it? But look, I'm trying to remember things from 26 years ago now, so that's what I do. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with going to a garden centre and enjoying lunch with the family, okay? Listening to Radio 2 all the way. Come on, Eileen. But it was, you know, yeah, I quite like the BAR livery from 99 in hindsight. In hindsight, I don't know, actually. I used to always like playing BAR when I was playing on the... sorry, I'm watching the TV. The music's just kicking in. The timing tower was there. I was like, "How late are we?" No, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say now. On the old PlayStation, I quite like playing the F1 games as BAR in '99. So, on a game called Formula One 99, which was a bit of a surprise. Right then, let's get this all set up. Look, I'm back and I'm talking crap already. What a surprise. It's taken, 20 minutes and we're already there. New record. Let's get everything set up for the stream then. So, as always, as you should all know by now, and if you're new, I'll make sure I'm clear on this as well. I'm not being a prick when I say it, but I can't show any footage for obvious copyright reasons. Lifetime will be provided by the awesome folks over at Multiviewer for F1. The stream isn't sponsored by them, but they do allow us to use the timing on the stream, so it's only fair to give them a little bit of a shout out. So appreciated as always. Really, really great stuff. Link in the description if you want to customize your own viewing experience, I think is the way I've worded it. You can do so with as much or as little data as you like. The more the better as far as I'm concerned. The app itself is free, but you do need an F1 TV subscription of some sort. Even the cheap F1 TV access is perfectly fine, so well worth the money in my opinion. Not everyone will agree, but in my opinion, well worth the money. So go and check those guys out. Thank you very much to them as always. Do drop a like on the stream too. Would really appreciate lots of likes on this one. It's been a quiet August. Things do go quieter over the summer break, so if, lots of likes would be really great. Love to get over 100 today, and please do subscribe if you're new. Lots to come this season and indeed this weekend. Of course, we're live tomorrow again for the Dutch Grand Prix, where hopefully we'll see a bit of rain and we get an absolute cracker. Hey Kev, how are we doing, mate? We were talking about you earlier about the Constructors' Championship and how thrilling that must be for you this season, with it already pretty much wrapped up, but there you go. Yeah, it's all on now, the track's on now, and I've got the timing as well. It just takes me a second to get that all sorted, so... is music just noise these days, Sean, says John. It is if you put Radio 1 on, bloody kids. It's terrible. Terrible. That's not music. I watched Top of the Pops 1998 last night on BBC 4. Yeah, BBC 4, Radio 2, Garden Centre. That's it. Let's start planning for the inevitable, shall we? Who you got for pole position then? I will end the poll now. The poll for poll. I'll give you 30 seconds on the poll, actually, before the session starts. But yeah, let me know in chat, one surname or your top three if you like. Who are you going for poll? I went with Norris on Thursday. I'll stick with Norris today. McLaren front row lockout. And I'm going to go... I take these way too seriously. I was like, it doesn't matter. I want to go with Alonso. I'm not convinced this morning's pace was... what they've got. I think they've got more. We saw in Hungary they were very strong, so I think they will be stronger today. But I'm going to go with a surprise P3 for Fernando Alonso. Fully expecting Max Verstappen or George Russell to be there, but I'm going to go with Alonso. Why not? Norris P1, Piastri P2. I'll be happy with that one. Is it going to rain, says Kevin? No, 10% chance according to race control, which is down from the 40% that it was on Wednesday and down even further from the 80% it was on Thursday afternoon. So yeah, top three for FUD will be Norris, Verstappen, Piastri. Never rule out Max. That's my favorite line in previews, is you can never rule out Max Verstappen. If anyone can, Verstappen can. I resign. That was I resign on you. That was awful. You can all, yeah. Punch me in the face for that. Alonso for pole, says Kevin. 1998 at BBC 4, but that was only a couple of years ago, right? Says FUD. Right? I remember buying that cassette or that CD. Oh, dearie me. I remember dancing to that with my sister in the dining room. Yay for steps, you know. Yeah, no, that was 27 years ago, mate, I'm afraid to tell you. Pascal says Sauber at least Q2. Williams says this year will surpass the drought that Ferrari had between titles in the 80s and the Schumacher years. Will they ever win a title again? I hope so, William. I remember Schumacher winning that in 2000. That was an emotional day. Ewan says Norris for pole. Williams going Norris, Piastri and Leclerc. Norris, Piastri and Magic Alonso says I like class 20s. Sighted Canvas says Lando looks very strong so far this weekend. Absolutely, but yeah, he can pull these laps out of Verstappen, can't he? Michael says Norris, Piastri and Russell. We are go for qualifying, so that's good. And would Aston consider sacrificing Stroll to give Alonso a tow, says Fudd. Stroll needs to get into Q3 first, so maybe. We'll see how we go. And Alonso PC2 says a yinker. And I'm going to be very biased with Piastri, Norris and Alonso from Annette. Annette, I have a question for you, actually. A weird one that came to me yesterday, and it was something I was reading in one of my comments. I won't get into it. They were being a knob. But I thought, I'll ask Annette that tomorrow if she's there. How popular is Oscar Piastri in Australia? Thinking about the Ricciardo days and the Webber days and drivers like that who were hugely popular in Australia. Is Piastri there yet, or is he a way off being the big popular superstar driver over there at the minute? I'm just intrigued. It's no shade or anything. I will just end the poll as well, by the way, while the net maybe gets back to me and goes, I have no idea, Sean. I don't talk to everybody. Who will take poll? 79% of you gone with McLaren, 9% go with Aston, 8% Red Bull, and Mercedes have gone 3%. So no faith in Mercedes there. So preparing for a poll. I've got no faith in Ferrari this weekend at all. But we'll see how we go. I don't know what Kev's saying. Get Stroll's crashes in McLaren so Fernando can get pole. Have we seen that before? I mean, sacrificing a second driver for Alonso to get P1 in something seems very unlikely, Kev. Ollie Bearman out on track. Lots of cars on track, actually. We've got Tsunoda, Ocon, Gasly, Bearman, Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Leclerc, Hamilton and Stroll out there. Who is the worst team in red, Ferrari or Man United? As bad as each other, aren't they, at the minute, Ewan? Have to say, very strange, quite mixed emotions on Wednesday for me, because obviously Grimsby is only up to road. And I was born in Grimsby and grew up down the road from Grimsby, and I live now in Lincoln, not too far from Grimsby. So it's a kind of one of those nights where it's like, oh, I'm really angry, but also well done, up the Mariners. So it's a bit of a weird day. Local team did well, not completely local team, but local team did well, very well. Team of support was absolutely diabolical. So there you go. I haven't seen people like Kim Illman mention Oscar's massive popularity in Australia ever. I just don't feel like he will do. If he wins the championship this year and continues being strong next year, it'll not take long before he's absolutely everywhere. But I don't see the hype from Australians like I do, for example, New Zealand media about Liam Lawson. I'm not going to get into that. That's one for Thomas to deal with, not me. But yeah, just intrigued. It's nothing more than that. Norris is quite popular in the UK and I think across other countries as well. But Hamilton's quite popular over here. Also unpopular. It's quite a weird one, Lewis Hamilton in the UK. It depends who you talk to. But Tsunoda currently fastest 10.6. That is going to be nowhere near pole. In fact, the 108.8, which is the track record, I think is going to get broken this weekend, probably today. William says, be cool to see an Aussie world champion for the first time since Alan Jones. Yeah, in 1980. Yeah, I said that in a video on a couple of weeks ago, actually, during the summer break. I said that I don't really give a toss, if I'm honest, about who wins out of Norris and Piastri, but it would be nice to have an Aussie world champion for the first time in 25 years. So I'm sort of a little bit more on Team Oscar for that one, but easy either way. It ain't going to be Max, so I don't care. And it isn't going to be a Ferrari, so I don't care. Hulkenberg goes third. Bearman fastest by way 10.2. Hey John T says, woo, back to Zandvoort. I nearly said it correctly. There you go. How you well, John T, mate? How you doing all right? We had a little brief chat the other day, didn't we? So Nick says, Yuki on provisional poll. Not anymore. Bearman's nicked it now. I will refresh the chat, make sure that we've not got... I think latency's been a bit worse, on YouTube of late for some reason. I'm still on low latency, so I don't know why, but there you go. Oh, and into the gravel goes Lance Stroll, but he'll get going again from there. We had a yellow flag at turn 12. Was he across the chicane? The yellows are between 12 and 13, so he's had a spin there, maybe. We'll wait and see what happens. Yeah, his tyres are a bit knackered now, our Lance Stroll. So let's see what he does in his spin. I'm assuming his spin. Has he gone across the gravel at 12 and then had a spin there? He'd be in the wall there, surely, if he'd done that. No, he's come out of 12, so he's fine there. Must be to 13 then, has to be. On the right-hander. Oh, he's touched the grass on the outside with his left front and round. Oh, he hit the wall as well. He did hit the wall hard, so that's going to be his second big crash of the weekend. Not as big as yesterday. That was hefty. Yeah, he just touched the grass on the outside, and he does hit the wall. That's... I mean, he's only lost his front wing. The wheels are still on, but he might get away with that. Yeah, too early to sabotage the McLaren's just yet, Lance. That wasn't the plan, was it? Stroll taking a competitive car and throwing it away, says Cryptes. And John says he has in the wall wing broken. Yeah, it was a... Verstappen touched the grass as well there, so... Was it... where was that? Was it 7 or was it 12 for... 13 for Lance? I think it was 13, was it? It was, I'm sure it was. That's where the yellow flag was. Sargent had a big shunt here a couple of years ago, didn't he? Really, like, massive accident. But that was up at turn 4-5, somewhere around there. Yeah. Saw somebody describe Zandvoort as a slow-speed circuit the other day, and I was trying to work out if that was accurate or moronic. I couldn't quite work it out, because I look at that section sort of out of turn 1 to 3 is high speed. 3 isn't really a slow speed corner, is it? It's just not quick. 4, 5, 6 are rapid. 7's not slow. 8's maybe slower. 9's slower. 10's a bit slower. 11 and 12 are slow, but then 13, 14 are quite rapid. So I was a little bit like, okay. 7 apparently. Yeah, because Max touched the grass there as well, didn't he? So I wonder if that was just debris that had flown off the car at 13 that the yellow flag was for. They're going to try and fix it, but yeah, that was a hell of a whack. Unsurprising news. No, it's turn 13. It is. I'm sure it is, because you just gone past the DRS detection. Yeah, it is. It's out of 12 and into 13. I feel like quite an unusual place to go off, actually. I might be way off. Yeah. No, it must be 7. It can't be. Oh, I don't know. It was 13, was it, Kaori? Thank you. I'm just having I'm trying to work it out. It's just certain angles, corners look quite... Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's 13, because then he comes into the banking for 14 and the DRS. So, yeah, thought it was. But 7 was where... sort of 5, 6, 7 was where Sargent had his shunt, wasn't it? So... Sorry for the erming today, by the way. I will say that. I'm a bit rusty. It's been a few weeks, so... I'll be fine tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the, yeah, but, so, nonsense again. Norris purple in the first sector. Verstappen pretty quick is 109.7. That is not going to be quick enough for pole. A few used tyres out there as well, I should say. Bearman, Leclerc and Tsunoda, just to let you know. He was on a pretty good lap until then too, says John C. 24.4... 25 flats and a 23.4 is irrelevant, isn't it? Because he was coming to the pits. So yeah, not bad. Antonelli goes second ahead of George Russell for now on a 110, pretty much flat, but not completely flat. And here goes Lando Norris on a, wow, for a first run, 0.3 quicker than Max Verstappen, 109.469. A long way off the times from this morning. Piastri over the line, a 109.627. So yeah, this is, unless they somehow manage to crap the bed, this is McLaren all the way, isn't it? So Alonso over the line. Are we all hyping it up for no reason? No, he goes fourth, not far off, half a second. All things considered in that car, so not bad on a 109.950. Lap times, what, have we had any racing since FP3? Do we have Porsche? I know F1 Academy are here and Porsche Super Cup are here, but I'm not sure we had anything in between sessions. But track just taking a little while to get up to speed by the look of it. I love the cars through turn 3. I'm never going to get over that. I will miss that when the track is gone, for sure. Bortoletto, 24.4 he needs in the first set to beat Colapinto. He's a 10th up on that one. He's now Gasly in P15. So, yeah, we'll see what Stroll does. I don't know if he'll get out from there. It was quite a hefty whack. It depends on what damage has been done to suspension and the like. But he said he guesses that's done. They said they'll see what they can do. So we'll see. Yeah, no F2. I think I have it in my head that F2 wasn't here last year. But I might be wrong, Jonty. I'm not 100% on that. I feel like it was F1 Academy again last year, but I'm not sure why you wouldn't bring F2 here. Well, maybe because it'd be absolute bloody chaos. That's probably why. But you might need 2 stages of quali, 2 groups. Very similar to Ricky Bobby Shunt. Fudd saying Amaze Lance didn't hurt his hand yesterday. Yeah, he didn't take his hands off the wheel, and it was a far heavier hit, wasn't it? Far heavier hit than Daniel Ricciardo's, but I guess that's freak accidents happen, don't they, in those situations? So it is strange, especially given he's got his wrist issues as well. Neil says F2 will be an actually watchable race at this track. If we didn't just get safety cars every 5 minutes, probably, yeah. It could be a lot of fun. But Lawson says, check the floor. So I'm guessing he's been off somewhere. Sainz comes into the pit lane. Here go the Ferraris setting their lap times. Lewis Hamilton currently 11th. That's Leclerc. Sorry, he goes 14th. 10.3. Don't forget Charles Leclerc on pole in Hungary. And frustrated didn't win the race. And into the pits comes Lewis Hamilton. He's given up on that one. So neither Ferrari in a particularly good place right now. What can you do? P11 for Hamilton, 1:10.2. P14 for Leclerc, 1:10.3. So actually that's how tight it is in there. In fact, 1.1 covers the entire field. So we're closer than we were this morning. But I don't think McLaren have given it everything just yet. They're still working on Lance Stroll's car, but he's out of the car, I think. So I think that is Lance Stroll's day over. They are checking Lawson's floor as well. Yeah, it looks like Lance is out. Yeah. Shame for Lance. That it's a good car as well this weekend, like somebody else said. And here's what Lawson's done. So Lawson's going to go wide, I'm guessing, on the exit of 3 and up on the curb. He does indeed. And it's rough over there, isn't it? So maybe some damage to the floor. We'll see from the front view. Over those serrated curbs. I think Grav's just gone raggedy edge, which I prefer to serrated curbs, actually. Get some good slow-mos at Zandvoort. That's why Hamilton abandoned his lap. Maybe in the gravel at turn 12 with his left front and left rear. So that's going to cost him time. Not the ideal, suboptimal through there. I like this track from a driving perspective before F1 came here, but I knew that F1 would never be able to have a great race here, says Neelish. It's great to watch cars around here, but like, yeah, we talked about it at the very start of the stream, actually. Great for watching cars, not necessarily great for racing, but again, a bit of rain like we saw in 2023 and the whole thing flips on its head and it's chaos. So we can hope for that tomorrow. In fact, I don't know, I'll check the forecast after the session. We'll have a look and see what's going on. But a little bit warmer, actually, than was forecast. 20.7 today. 34.2 track. I think it was 18 or 19. So it was forecast. We are a bit warmer than we were. Not much. Not much at all. But will Verstappen go back to 33 when one of the McLarens wins the title? Yes. So the world champion can take the number 1 shirt, can take the number 1 on their car, but their number is reserved. So if Hamilton had taken 44 when he won his titles, then taken 1, then 44 would have been reserved. So Verstappen will go back to 33. That's still his number when he doesn't win the championship this year. You know, look. Call me an idiot if you want, but if these McLarens, which I kind of hope they do, because we need this to be spicy, if it's going to be McLaren dominating between now and the end of the season, we need these two to really start scrapping, and we need some bite in this championship fight. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit nah. But if they start running into each other, you never know. You never know. I mean, I do, but you never know. It's not going to happen. Kevin says, sorry, Yuki, but you're toast at Red Bull. Yuki Tsunoda down in 17th at the moment, 110.4. Charles Leclerc sat in the queue at the end of the pit lane. Busier than Tesco car park. There's Lance Stroll, definitely not going to be restarting this session then. Looks absolutely delighted, but that's going to be P20 in a car that has at times this weekend looked like the second fastest, but let's see what happens when Mercedes are flat out and Red Bull, and by Red Bull I mean Verstappen, are flat out. The McLaren's fight like HR is in the room. That, do you know what? It's funny. It's a little bit like that, isn't it? A 110 flat is the projected knockout time. So that means everybody from Antonelli back definitely has to go again if that's accurate. But Alonso on a 199 is not comfortable, is he? So he'll need to go again. Piastri, they'll all go again, but apart from Stroll. But Oscar now, he takes a slightly different line through turn 3 than Lando Norris, which is interesting. We'll see what he does. It's 23.6 to beat in the first sector. Pretty much matches that. 23.684. So not too much between them there. 0.04 of a second. Let's see what he can do. Hoping Oscar can take the fight to Lando this weekend, because otherwise we're going to get Lando Norris disappearing, aren't we? Which we don't want to see. We want to see Piastri giving him a rough time and vice versa. So without getting into it again. Although I will say, I said in a video, I don't need to see Senna versus Prost levels of animosity and bite, but just something would be nice. Purple of middle sector though for Piastri, actually getting on for a couple of 10th and a half up, so that's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Round the final corner through that wonderful banking, across the line goes Piastri. We're going into the early 9s, 109.3 more or less. Yeah, a 10th quicker, pushing a 10th and a half quicker than Lando Norris. So good luck there. Let's see what Alex Albon can do. Williams looked better this morning, so that's good. Hopefully going to be in the mix. Look at the traffic, though. It's just awful for traffic, this track. But best drivers in the world and all that. Interesting line through 3. Different also to Piastri. I love the multiple lines through turn 3. Particularly at the start of the race when you get a low triangle at the inside. And it's just a great corner. It will be missed. If you can miss a corner, I guess. But... well, Lance Stroll did. But Alex Albon is... where is he at the moment? He's 15th, so he does need a good lap here. He is personal best in the first sector, which is good stuff for him. Middle sector, 48.2 to beat. He's not going to beat that. We're only 3/10 down. John says, no, Sean, we want drama. I was begging for the McLaren to crash in Hungary whole summer break to see about it. I mean, they nearly crashed. Piastri wasn't far off the back of it. There's some photos on XPB that make you go, bloody hell, that was close. Could have been much closer. I don't mind Leclerc. I don't want to get as nasty as Prost then did, as Albon goes 5th with 30 seconds to go, because that got really nasty, didn't it? But at the same time, it makes headlines, doesn't it, I suppose? Leclerc needs this. He's 15th at the moment. Bortoletto improving. Stroll isn't out there, so that's not correct on my timing tower there. Could be Ocon that that's supposed to be for, but we'll see. He's half a second down, Leclerc, in the middle sector on Piastri, which only puts him 6th-ish at the moment. So he's going to be... top 10's going to be tricky here. Bortoletto's improving. Ocon's improving. As I suspected. He's going to get a toe, Leclerc, though. Although Verstappen is not letting him have that. No way. In fact, Verstappen bailed out of that completely. And Leclerc goes 9th, just behind Lewis Hamilton. First class to take the flag was Leclerc. Bortoletto goes 13th. The 110 flat looks like it's going to be about right, actually. So Bortoletto's under pressure here. Ocon is improving. Lawson on the bubble here. We've lost Stroll, definitely. Ocon, Colapinto, Tsunoda and Bearman are down there in the bottom 4. Tsunoda's improving 3/10 up. And Lawson goes 5th on a 197. That's a cracking lap at just the right time for him. Ocon over the line, only 16th. He is out on a 110.1. Colapinto over the line, goes 15th. What can Ollie Bearman do? That's the problem at Hulkenberg as well. Tsunoda over the line. He goes 12th. That's a breath of relief, or a breathing sigh of relief for him. Colapinto drops out, which is a shame, but I did fear he might with these cars improving. Hulkenberg over the line. Does he knock his teammate out? He does not. Bortoletto again out-qualifies Nico Hulkenberg, and Ollie Bearman didn't improve either on a 110.2. So we have lost Franco Colapinto, Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Ollie Bearman, and Lance Stroll. They are your bottom 5. Actually, Gasly up in 8th, and all right, okay, he's out, but 16th is a bit better than that Alpine look this morning, so small victories and all. Bortoletto scraping through by 700ths of a second. 9/10, separating the entire field, which is lovely. I like that. I like that very much. Alonso down to P11. Leclerc in the 10th place, like I say. So Piastri fastest, Norris 2nd, Russell 3rd, Verstappen 4th, Lawson 5th, Albon in 6th, Antonelli 7th, Gasly 8th, Hamilton 9th, and Leclerc 10th. 5.5. It's not what I meant at all, was it? Yeah, 5.5 tenths separate the top 10. Or between 1st and 10th, sorry. 11th Alonso, 12th Tsunoda, 13th Hadjar, 14th Sainz, 15th Bortoletto. We lost Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Bearman and Stroll, who of course crashed at turn 13. So great lap from Liam Lawson there to get through to 5th. Bit of a surprise actually, although he's found his feet, hasn't he, by the way. Did I say by the way? I didn't mean by the way, if I said that. I thought it, and then yeah, anyway. This is the last Dutch Grand Prix for now, right? No, there's one more next year. Takeru. Is it Takeru? Yes, there's one more next year. And then that's it for the Dutch Grand Prix for now. This is the Bortoletto and Hadjar Stan channel. Very much Hadjar. We do like Isaac Hadjar. But good to see Yuki through. Kaori says, thank God, Yuki. Liam 5th, wow, says Kevin. Nice, Liam, says Kaori. Yuki is in Q2. Holy crap, says RC. How was your summer break? Says Takeru. Yeah, it was good, thank you. I didn't do an awful lot, but it was nice to just sort of do nothing. Actually, I will say, John T knows this, the summer break was the first time that I did not even look at Formula One or the channel once for 2 weeks. It was weirdly unsettling, but also quite nice. Of course, it's a Van Dorn Stan channel still. P1 always for Stoffel Van Dorn, except racing, of course. But I do want to see a Scraps as RC. Have we ever talked about the irony that one of the slowest driver names also means to walk in a relaxed manner? Yeah, Stroll. My app says high chance of rain overnight into early morning, then a low medium chance from 3 to 5 p.m. If we get rain, I want it to be like 2023. Halfway round the first lap, it just hammers it down. RC says, wow, you PG'd me. Sorry, mate. I live in the UK. Unless you can prove to me you're over 18. I can't swear at you because... Let's move on very quickly. Yeah, we nearly went on there. Everyone loves Isaac. Yes, they do. Kira says, impressive, Sean. Thank you. It was weird. It was quite weird because, when you're... I guess I'll say when I was fully independent, I had to check it because nobody else would. But I had Sam keeping on top of things, and his mental health got a kick in for a couple of weeks rather than just mine. So there you go. Where do they go next? Question mark, says Neelish. As after Zandvoort, or do you mean the next race? The next race is Monza. Yeah, Monza. But in terms of a Dutch Grand Prix, there won't be one next year. Madrid's one of those replacing it, isn't it? So another street track, which I'm sure you'll all be thrilled about. Oh, it's a hybrid, isn't it? Madrid's a hybrid street, part racetrack, part street track thing. But yeah. Ground effects have ruined wet racing with the amount of spray. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, visibility, isn't it? It's not so much the cars can't race in the wet, as in can't stay on the track. It's just the visibility. But simplify the whole thing. I'll talk about where they'll hold the next Dutch Grand Prix if it's not Zandvoort. No, it's Zandvoort next year, and then that's no more Dutch Grand Prix after that, Nilesh. None at all, mate. They are done. Which is a shame because I imagine it's quite a fun Grand Prix to go to, but I also get that maybe the track isn't for modern F1 cars, so yeah. It's a shame. It'll be a shame if Spa goes as well, or when it goes. I don't know why. It just feels like there's an inevitability about Spa, and that really pisses me off, quite frankly. But there you go. He's not joking, by the way. I've had years of telling him to stop looking and he never listened. It's true. Johnson's always telling me to stop looking, but I never listen. Modern F1 cars are not for me, says Nick. I said the F1 loves eyes that they do. Goes to extremely simple and extremely bumpy Detroit street track. IndyCar does now, says Charlie. A couple of good tracks in America I'd like to see. Long Beach could be a lot of fun. I think Johnson just said Long Beach somewhere, didn't he? Yes, he did. So Spa is an amazing track, says Anushka. Yep. But, you know, it's all going to come down to money, is it, at the end of the day? If they can afford to keep the race, maybe F1 will be fine. But it's just if they can't, then they'll go to Dubai or something. Who can? The rotation, the thing is, KO, the only thing I will say about Spa is that inevitability, fine. We are going for Q2, by the way. Wait for the cars to come out. But there is the feeling of inevitability, but also maybe because Dutch Grand Prix organisers decided that was it, they didn't want to do it anymore, maybe that offers Spa a reprieve. Maybe there's a space now on the calendar, so rather than permanent rotation, maybe it'll take the slot, or like I say, they'll sell the slot to the highest bidder. I think Portugal, Portimao, and they're in talks, and I think there's still talk of South Africa, and there's one other. Is it Thailand also in talks? So yeah, probably not, but you never know. Crypti says, I got to the Long Beach race every year. There is no way the current size of F1 cars would fit around there. Yeah, we said that about Zandvoort, though, and they don't really, do they? But fair point. They squeeze around Monaco every year. Maybe they can, but yeah. IndyCar at Spa would be chaos. I'd watch that. I try and watch IndyCar when I can, but I would make a point of... I would probably go live for that. You know, I would make a point of watching that. I'd find a way. 13 and a half minutes to go. 2 cars on track, and it is the 2 Ferraris, both on used tyres. So not going to learn much from this. So if you're wondering why I'm not commentating or letting you know what's happening on track, that's because... well, I say there's nothing. There was a fox on the entry of turn 10. I think he's taken the exit road, though, says Leclerc. So Charles Leclerc coming across a fox. There you go. I hope it took the exit road isn't code for I hit it, but it's taken the exit road. Yeah, but let's see. I'm sure the Fox is fine. Car's really bottoming out around some of these corners. A lot of smoke coming out the back when the plank's hitting the ground. It makes me think the car's failing, but... What the Fox is going on, says Sighted Canvas. There's a Fox song, isn't there? I vaguely remember it in my head. I won't shout it, don't worry. I've driven on the same streets as the Detroit Grand Prix street track, and they're some of the smoothest in the entire state, says Neelish. There you go. What did the Fox say when it took the exit road? Thank Fox for that, I'd assume. But yeah. Here goes Leclerc. He's going to go fastest. First one to do a lap, 1:10.034. We were going to be quicker than that. The 1:10 flat was a cut-off in the last session. Here comes Lewis Hamilton, who looked good in the first session. A little bit quicker than his teammate this time. Ever so slightly slower, a 10th between them. Russell, he's just gone out on track. They're starting to queue now. So there's the Fox. Oh, he's a little fox. Oh, running across the track. Oh, he's out. Yeah, he's fine. Freddy's fine. It's all good. I've just named the Fox. These drivers spot everything, don't they? That's incredible. The speeds he's doing, and he sees that little Fox running down this skate road. Love, I suppose, yeah. If Sebring ever decides to upgrade the track to grade 1, it would be salivating. Salivating is a lovely word, Kaori. I love that word. Salivating. That's fun to say. Johnson's like, no, don't you dare. Don't you dare. It's no giant lizard. Very true. Foxing unbelievable, says Nick. I bet he didn't buy a ticket either. 11 minutes to go. We are now getting cars on track. It's the classic F1 problem. sit around for 6 minutes doing sod all, and then they all want to go out at the same time, or however long we've had in this session. It's 18, isn't it? Yeah, we're about 6 minutes. About right. You want the best conditions, of course. I understand why they do it, but it does look a bit silly at times. But yeah. Can't wait for Ferrari to screw the fans again, says Team Nightmare. Yeah, they'll be fastest in FP1, fastest in FP2, and fastest in FP3 in Monza, and then one will get knocked out in Q1, the other will be out in Q2, and they'll score 1 point all weekend, and we'll just sit and cry. I've seen this before. We've been here before. Here we go then. We've got a lap starting now for George Russell. A hot lap into turn 1. I'm not going to try and pronounce the corner names because I will absolutely butcher some of them. Tarzan I'm fine with, but the rest probably not wise, so we'll stick with numbers. The banking at turn 3, lovely through there from George Russell. Nice exit actually there, not too up on the curbs. Potentially time on the table. Do you need to be up on the curbs out there? Didn't work for Lawson too well. Did it purple in the first sector for Russell? No, I'm surprised he's on new tyres. He's not on new tyres, it's used tyres for Russell. How used? I don't know. Hang on a second, I might be able to say how used. 4 laps. Max Verstappen's woken up on a 23.5, fresh set of soft tyres. That's quicker than we've seen all sessions so far, isn't it? Including Q1. 23.5. Track temperature is down a little bit now. It's gone back up again, so it's fluctuating. Verstappen 7.5 tenths up on Leclerc. Not a huge shock in many ways because they are... Ferraris are now new tyres, apparently. If that's new tyre runs for Ferrari, unless they've just gone back out on track, that'll be why. Ignore me. Russell, a 109.636, 3 tenths quicker, nearly 4 tenths quicker than Leclerc. Here goes Verstappen, a 109.1, so it's still slower than this morning. 3 tenths off the fastest time, but that's a very good lap from Max Verstappen. He should be safely through on that one. Is the track improving, or is the Max improving? Yeah. Cringe. Into turn 3. Norris got a little bit of traffic on the inside, but he got well out of the way, so it should be good. More curb there than Russell. That may have been Piastri. I'm getting confused by McLaren's again, but I'm sure it's Norris. It's what it says on the TV. So yeah, purple 23.4. That's 10th and a bit quicker than Verstappen. So obviously improving through there. Pushing harder now, of course, Q2. Norris through 10. Opens the DRS on exit. On the run to that tight, twisty chicane. It's that gravel on the outside still stuck down. Middle sector slower than Max Verstappen, but a personal best because it is his first lap in this session, so not a surprise. Only marginally slower than Verstappen. Now, Max may have just... I'll wait till he's crossed the line, actually, before I jinx the whole thing. Here comes Norris then. Over the line he goes. 109.1 to beat. Does a 108.8. I'll shut up now. I was going to say Max maybe just bring himself into play here, but that was a big gain in the final sector for Norris. A whole 10th and a bit. Pushing 10th and a half quicker. So, yeah, good stuff from Norris there. We've got Alonso. Obviously, all these are personal best because they've not set a time yet. So, no surprise that they're improving on nothing. Alonso 4 tenths up on Leclerc. In that first sector, but I know Leclerc was on used tyres, so Piastri's gone purple in the middle sector with a 24.5, so a little bit quicker than Norris, but it's still quicker, and he is quicker than Verstappen as well. Of course, it's purple, so Alonso only 8th. Used tyres though on Alonso's car, 4 laps on those, so yeah. There is still pace there. Piastri goes second, lost a little bit in that final sector. So Norris strong in the first and final sectors. Piastri strong in the middle sector. Hamilton's gone purple in the middle sector. Leclerc goes 4th. Ferrari finding a bit of speed now. Verstappen's still 3rd. So Ferrari starting to find pace. Air temperature, track temperature pretty much staying where they were. So nothing's changed there. Maybe just gripping in a little bit, rubbering in a bit more. Bit more grip out there for them. Hamilton goes 4th ahead of Charles Leclerc. Good luck there. Is it the lap record, Kevin? Is that official? It was a 108.88. You'll get there before I can. I know you will. This was in the preview. I should know these things. I try and remember them when I come into a weekend, but I always forget. 108.885. So it is a new fastest ever lap of any kind around Zandvoort in an F1 car, or since we've come back here anyway. So there you go. Dangerous in McLaren. What the flip was what he said there. Norris was Norris on the racing line there, dawdling a little bit. Sainz comes through the final corner. It's a replay. So what's happened here? Close to the wall, apparently, but looked okay. Dawdling is the word that Crofty's used, and if Crofty is saying that Norris was dawdling, he must have been dawdling, because he'd usually try and find an excuse for that. I'm joking. I'm being facetious. It's been a little while. Are we now showing our face, says Tom. Yes, I am showing my face. I apologise in advance to anyone watching. Like, not his face. Yeah. I was convinced that I should do it by... It took some of you 7 years, but the folks at Planet Sport were like, you should show your face. Be more personal. And now I have to shave and get washed and everything. Just sit in my pants if I wasn't showing my face. I never did that. Oh, no. Yeah, I would love to show the dog's face, but there are two reasons why not. One, he's whiny as heck at the moment, and two, he's had a poorly couple of days, bless him. I'll not share the disgusting details, but he's not been very well, so thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. Tom's letting me off for this one, that's fine. Just this once, though, fine. No face cam tomorrow. No face cam tomorrow. Should Lando have been on the right side of the track at that section, or on the left side when Max came flying by? 109.5 is a projected knockout. Where was he? I don't know. It's really awkward. Sorry to be. I'm sort of umming and ahhing, but it's a bit awkward for tracks like Zandvoort, because it's such a small, narrow track. Kind of like, where do you go? You've got a car flying up behind you. You need your engineers to give you plenty of notice. Do you tuck into the inside, outside? I feel like you're going to be wrong whatever you do, but it depends on what the stewards have deemed acceptable, I suppose, this weekend. So he's a cockapoo, Kaori, a little black and white cockapoo. I say little. He's about twice the size of his brother, who's going to stay with him for 2 weeks this afternoon, which is going to be flipping chaotic again, but good fun. I'm in shorts, but I'm in proper shorts, to be fair, Dave and Anushka. Like, proper as in I could go outside in these shorts, not underwear. So I am in shorts. Only because I got the PC at my feet. So if I wear trousers, it just sets fire to my legs. So I do, but yeah. This is a lovely conversation. I'm so pleased to be back. 2.5 minutes ish, just over to go. Cars getting out there now to get their laps in. Few still queuing in the pit lane, but we are ready to go. Used tyres for Norris, Verstappen, Piastri. Not a surprise there, because they are, of course, probably through with a 109.5 as a projected knockout. New tyres for pretty much everyone else. Alonso's sort of registering as old tyres. That might be his first run still. Again, they're bottoming out some of these corners. You just see big puff of smoke. You think, oh, God, that's failing. But it's not. It's just, yeah. But Russell and Antonelli on their laps are both improving, which is good to see. 23.8 to the 23.7. Antonelli 8, Russell 7. Tsunoda does a 23.7, so a little bit quicker than George Russell in the first set. So that shouldn't surprise me, but it does. He's in a Red Bull. Even though the car's not great, you'd expect it to be somewhere near the Mercedes, given what Max Verstappen's doing in it. But we know that second car has been problematic at times, although I think they seem to be moving more towards a two-team setup now, and Tsunoda's getting a bit more backing from Lauren McKees, which is nice. So having said that, Tsunoda's now half a second down on Norris and nowhere near George Russell in the middle sector, so I'm just going to shut my mouth. I've just jinxed Yuki's entire weekend. Anthony goes 7th, Russell up to 6th place, Hadjar drops to 8th. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda now. What's he going to do? Yeah, I just completely ruined Yuki's weekend. He's ninth, didn't improve. 109.622. He is probably in trouble if that 109.5 is accurate as a projected knockout. Pierre Gasly, who I have to say has really managed to extract everything from that car at times this season, hasn't he? Certainly lately. He's done a great job there. I think Flavio Briatore's impressed, and I'm impressed with that, but probably not quite enough to get through. But he is P10. He could still end up P15 though, so I'll not get too excited by that. But he is through to P10. Sainz goes 7th and knocks him straight out again. I think Tsunoda's in trouble here. Bortoletto improving. You would expect Hadjar. He's not improving actually in the middle sector. He did in the first sector. It's Isaac, and Albon's having a bad lap. Yellow and yellow. Hijar has crossed the line and gone into 7th as the checkered flag comes out. Bortoletto, he stays slower in that middle sector. He was faster in the first sector. So I just to make sure I got the lap time right. He's about 900ths down on his previous best. So has the track had its moment in this session? Tsunoda might... I think Tsunoda's going to get let off here unless Lawson and Alonso are going to ruin his day. Lawson is improving 23.7, matching the best time from Tsunoda in the first sector. He's improved in the middle sector. I think Lawson here might... 2/10 actually quicker than Tsunoda, might be about to ruin, assuming that Red Bull gets out of the way, might be about to ruin Tsunoda's day. Alonso's improving as well, a 10th and a half up on Tsunoda in that middle sector. So Liam Lawson, he's going to get a little toe off Verstappen. And over the line he goes, and does go 7th. So that's now knocked Tsunoda out. I think Antonelli's in trouble. Alonso's improving. He wasn't. And then he did in the middle sector. Alonso goes 7th, and out goes Antonelli. So we've lost Kimi Antonelli, Yuki Tsunoda, Gabriel Bortoletto, Pierre Gasly, and Alex Albon. Yes. I think we're done. We are. Yeah, Gasly pits. So that's that one then. So we have lost Kimi Antonelli by 200ths of a second. Yuki Tsunoda. Bortoletto matched Tsunoda's time, by the way, 109.622. Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, 7/10 separating the top 15. Of course, if you're just tuning in, already lost Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Bearman, and Stroll, who crashed. You've got to be kidding me. Oh my God, no tyres at all. Or no tyres at all, says Albon. He's not happy on the radio, which I think actually at times this season has pretty much summed up Alex Albon. He was told P12. I hate to ruin his day. It's going to be P15. Why do we do it to ourselves, says Albon. Kimi, says Kaori. And damn Liam as well, in a good way. Racing Bull's the real deal, says Nick. Yeah, Lawson 8th and Hadjar 9th. I mean, they have a shot at the top 5. We were talking about it earlier, weren't we? So there you go. Will you say MasterCard McLaren next year or stay with McLaren? It's a $100 million deal, says Kevin. It'll be, I'll stick with McLaren. So I don't call Red Bull, Oracle Red Bull, and I don't call Mercedes, AMG, Petronas, Spa, Shell, Tesco, Formula One team, Asda. I'll just call them by their team name. McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston Martin and co. So are Aston Martin still cognizant? Aston Martin, or are they something else now? And that says I find myself cheering for Liam. I've been cheering for Liam since his junior career. I subscribe to most Sport TV just to watch him in Super Formula, for goodness sake. So I've always maintained he's a very, very quick driver. And I think he got a kick in the gut at Red Bull, which was fair enough. It was always going to hurt, wasn't it? But it's how you respond. And I think initially I was a bit concerned about him, but actually of late he's responded very, very well, and he's finding his feet at that team again. So yeah, bearing in mind Tsunoda didn't get a full winter in that Red Bull, and Lawson didn't get a full winter in the Racing Bull, so they're kind of learning on the go, aren't they? So I think he's doing all right now. And when you consider how good Hadjar's been, for him now to be matching him and beating him, I think it says a lot about how Lawson's turned it around. So I know a lot of people really don't like him. I do quite like him, but I kind of like the no BS approach, but that's kind of me to a T. Yeah. Williams struggles, I believe, because of the ownership. A US investor group, says Kevin. At least they're still owned by Derilton Capital, aren't they? So yeah, I think they do. If anyone considers that a negative, then I suppose actually I'd argue they do well because in spite of that. But Williams are one of those teams that I think will probably spend the rest of its time in the midfield. That said, it wasn't that many years ago that I was saying that McLaren will never win a title again, and they're going to do back-to-back constructors, and they're going to win a drivers this year. So I suppose actually anything can happen, and rules resets allow that. So yeah, not sure if Stroll is cognizant sometimes, says Charlie. Red Bull mismanaged all of the drivers. Gasly and Albon are both solid, and they got rid of them. Cited Canvas, exactly this. I like Lawson because he's not there to make friends. Yeah, this isn't Formula Friends. It's I think Martin Brundle's a little bit grumpy old man about the whole these drivers are all friends and they shouldn't be friends thing. But I do sort of agree that it is a little bit too cordial these days. I don't feel like we're going to get a PK Salazar moment or something like that. They make mistakes or run into each other, and then apart from Russell and Verstappen, who just don't seem to like each other on track. I don't know what they like off track, but they sort of go, oh, sorry about that, didn't mean to, we're all best friends again now. And it's like, oh, what? Elizabeth has got Blue Sky talking about which track animal would qualify best. So far, whoever said the Silverstone Hare is winning. I don't know. Have you seen the... where was it? Was that this year? Was it, I don't know what it was, like a lizard or something that ended up running? Or was it last year in Baku? And there's that great video of the marshals trying to catch it and it's running with its legs going all over the... Oh, I could watch that video all day. That was pretty rapid. Yeah. So you're saying we need more Max versus Russell beefs? Yeah, but proper beefs, not, oh no, he bumped into his wheels, it must be a travesty. A proper beef, you know, let's have a proper argument. Or just anybody, just you know, let's just get some spice out there. That's why I like Verstappen. It's why I like drivers like, you know, Lawson not there to make friends, or Verstappen just says it as it is. I'd much rather have that than, yeah. Some of the, what is it you told me saying chat the other week? Some of the characters we have now. There you go. Cheetah will be quick. Yeah, have we seen a cheetah? Yeah. There was a deer, and I remember Montoya's radio and he went, "Oh dear," and his engineer went, "Yeah, dear." Like, just did not get the joke at all. And then when he actually explained it, it was like, "Oh, right, yeah, thanks, Juan Pablo." That's a fair point, Gingerfest. Yeah, F1 is too cordial now? Question mark. Didn't F1 drivers get their cars so their teammates could win? Yeah, I mean, in that sense, yeah, I suppose. In past, it were more cordial, or a bit too northern. I apologise, but I mean more about the whole. When things happen, Austria last year, when Norris and Verstappen came together, and Norris was kind of like initially like, oh, and then 10 minutes later it was like, oh well, you know, these things happen. I respect Max. We're good friends. It's like, oh, just fall out. Just call him a knobhead just once. You know, it's like when Verstappen called Russell a dickhead and everyone had a meltdown because it was abusive. It's like, oh, come on. If dickhead is abusive, then Jesus Christ, we're all finished. He called him a dickhead because he was being a dickhead. I'm sorry, but he did. There you go. But that's kind of more what I mean. Not necessarily. I mean, on a sport, you're absolutely right. I'm trying to think of the example. The reason I'm sort of waffling on that is I'm trying to work out who it was. Did Sterling Moss? Mike Hawthorne was involved in something, I'm sure, in giving up cars. If we've got a history nerd, if Elizabeth's around, if anyone can find her, she'll tell us. No problem. Q3 is go. I'm just trying to work out who they were. So, yeah. Ocon versus Max. Yeah, Max pushed him. Yeah. That was... to be fair, the way Ocon was posturing, I think I'd have pushed him as well, to be honest. He was... I think he was itching for a fight. He looked like it anyway. I love Esteban Ocon. Leave him alone. Here we go then for Q3. Who's going to get pole? Let me know your predictions in the chat. Final predictions. I went Norris, Piastri, Alonso as my top 3. I'll stick with that because I don't like flip-flopping on predictions but let me know who you're going to go with, your final predictions of the day. It won't be because we'll pick the winner later, won't we, for tomorrow. But and also, as Kaori says, like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much. Yes, please do like, share and subscribe. Appreciate the support as always. Would be good. Where are we? 42 likes, 236. I'd love to get to 100 today, so we get 58 more likes. 58 more likes. Maths. Then please do that'd be amazing to get to that today, so it really helps. Hawthorne, Moss and Brabham, thank you, Nick. Peter Collins, who gave up his car for Fangio to win the 4th title. There we go. Going back a bit, aren't we? But there's some names in there. Hawthorne, Moss, Brabham and Fangio. And Collins, of course. But wow, some names in there. Ayinka says Norris, Alonso, Piastri. That is a 23-3 in the first sector for Piastri. Quickest of the day, I think, or all weekend. Chandos just said in my ear, like he's here, like he's working for Sean Race Control. You know what I mean? Tom, quick maths. 1 + 1 is 6. Yeah. I'd like Verstappen to start P10, please, and thank you. Just for the drama tomorrow, could be fun. 23-3 for Norris as well, but just a little bit slower. 24-4 in the middle for Piastri. Can Norris respond on these first runs? He's coming to that final part of the second sector now. 24-3. This is ebbing and flowing here. Piastri, a 108.6. That's a cracking lap, but I think I'm going to say Norris is a 108.5. There you go. Why not? Over the line he goes. 108.674. Wow. 12 thousandths. A hundredths of a second between them. That is pretty impressive there. That is tight. We said it'd be tight. Where's Piastri come from? Norris has topped pretty much everything all weekend, and all of a sudden, Aussie P turns up and nails it. Russell's a 109.2. It is half a second off, but it is P3 at the moment. What can Fernando do? I'll read through the used tyres in just a sec. There goes Sainz on a 109.9. Used tyres. Alonso comes to line. He's on used tyres. We've also got used tyres for Sainz, Hamilton, Leclerc, Lawson, and Hadjar. Verstappen on a fresh set. So 109.9 for Alonso on a used set of tyres isn't bad at all here. Is he going to find 7 tenths on a fresh set? Russell might be looking good, but there goes Hadjar into P4. That's a cracking lap on a used set of tyres, actually, to be fair. To hop ahead of Alonso, who's been rapid all weekend. Here come the Ferraris. Leclerc goes 4th on a 109.5, just 3 tenths off George Russell. And Lewis Hamilton not too far behind. Over the line he goes, 9th to 4th. 100th quicker than his teammate. He's correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's sort of had the measure of Leclerc this weekend, hasn't he, so far, as Lewis Hamilton? Kind of what he needed after his weekend in Hungary. Yeah. I don't be too facetious about it, but everybody fully expected him back this weekend, right? Yeah. Nobody actually believed the retirement nonsense. Oscar left the sandbag in the pit. Yeah, he did. That's a heck of a lap. And actually, I'll tell you what, I don't want to jinx him. Don't jinx my driver, but he's just coming through turn 2 now. Max Verstappen only a couple of tenths off in that middle sector overall. So actually, or overall on his lap, sorry. So actually, he might be in the mix for top 3 here. He is indeed. 109.048. It is looking, unless something incredible happens, it's looking like it is Piastri versus Norris. We kind of knew that anyway, didn't we? But yeah, Verstappen ain't too far off. To be fair, he isn't too far off. Did Ferrari fix the brake issue for Lewis, as cited canvas? Maybe. Watching a replay of Lawson here, coming through 3. He's going to be wide again. It's just a really interesting line through there. I got a big snap of oversteer through on the exit of turn 3 there, and just caught the curb. Not quite as bad as he caught the curb earlier in the session, but still, yeah. Interesting. So, Coming up to 6 minutes to go. First blows in Q3. Piastri has the edge at the moment, 108.662. Norris second on a 108.674. Nothing between them. Verstappen, nearly 4 tenths further back, to be fair, with George Russell nearly 6 tenths further back in fourth. They've all used a fresh set of tyres, but the used tyre runners, Lewis Hamilton, 3 tenths just under off Russell, nothing back to Leclerc really. Hadjar 2 tenths off Leclerc, Alonso 2 tenths off Hadjar, Sainz 2 thousandths off Alonso, and Lawson with that mistake 4 tenths off Carlos Sainz. I wonder. I'm question for Sighted Canvas. I want to know why you wanted Max to be 10th. I mean, are you thinking about a comeback drive tomorrow that might make the race a bit spicy, or I'm wondering if there's sometimes the stat reason behind some of your hopes and predictions, chat. And it might be something like, if he's 10th and he's 10th such and such, then it'll be whatever. But I tried to think of a stat that would work, and it just didn't work. 10th such and such. Spite, says Sighted Canvas. Oh, I love it. I love the honesty, just spite. There is no stat here. There is no hope of a great race. Just spite. Love it. Oh, God, I've missed you lot. I'm trying to think of some really clever reason why, and it's just because I want him there. 4.5 minutes left. Cars sat in the garage. They're all going to come out together by the look of it. Oh, Piastri, they say, left the sandbags in the pits. He needs some gremlins in his car, says Pro Street. Yeah. Oh, I know. Sorry, this is not F1 relevant, so I do apologise. I do want to check something very quickly. Oh, Chelsea did win. Okay, cool. I wonder how many minutes were added on the end of that one. Sometimes you just need to be a bit of pure spite. Oh, I could be very like that, to be fair, Sighted Canvas, with some of the drivers, and I hope they're 12th. I don't care. Yeah, I get it. Same with any sport, anything in life, actually, sometimes, you know, but it's part of being a human being. It's all good fun. Previous polls: Norris, Verstappen, Piquet. Piquet Senior, of course, 1985. Piquet Junior never got a pole in F1. You could argue he won a race, but yeah. That's something I don't get, by the way. While we wait for these cars, they're just heading out now. While we get ready for these final laps, I get a lot of comments when Abu Dhabi 2021 comes up from people who are like, "Oh, you're still going on about that? Get over it." It's like, yeah, we're still talking about it in the same way we still talk about Singapore 2008 and Spygate or Stepneygate, whatever you want to call it, or Senna versus Prost, or all the controversies down the years, because it's part of F1 history, and we're not going to stop talking about it because it makes you uncomfortable. It's a controversy from F1 history that, of course, we're going to talk about. So it's just very, very strange. Very, very strange. But there you go. Anyway, that was it. I'm not going to moan about it. Just, it's very weird. I was saying earlier, John, to the football side of things, it was weird for me the other night because I was both furious at the fact that Man United are crap and played like non-league footballers on 200 grand a week and shouldn't be there and should have all been cleared out by now, but here we are still having the same conversation anyway. But I was also really happy for Grimsby because they're a local side and I was born in Grimsby, so I was kind of like really happy but also really angry, so I was kind of like, I just went to bed. I didn't know what to do. Didn't know how to deal with it. But here we go. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris starting there. That's Norris first. You got some traffic on the exit, but they should get well out of the way. This is for pole position. These are the laps that really matter now. Let's see who is going to get pole. Piastri's come out of nowhere. Norris has topped every session pretty much, I think, including Q1 and Q2 all weekend. So let's see. If he can do it, he's down. He is down 700ths. I said down twice there. Down. Piastri, what's he going to do? Does he improve? We're going to find out in 4 seconds' time whether or not Oscar Piastri can improve on his time. 23. He does indeed. 9,000ths of a second. So Norris down on the best time. Piastri up on the best time. This is because I predicted opposite this week for the race and the qualifying. I usually go Piastri pole, Norris win. I went Norris pole and Piastri win, so you know what's going to happen. It's always the way it goes for me. That's spite for your sighted canvas. Oh, spite. Damn McLaren. Here goes Norris. Purple in the middle sector, though, and Piastri slightly down on his best, or on Norris's best, but he is half a tenth up overall. So this is very, very close. Here comes Norris. Does not improve. It's a 108.674. It means Oscar Piastri is on pole position unless Max does a Max, which feels unlikely based on where the pace has been this weekend. Over the line goes Piastri. He also doesn't improve. Stays on a 108.662. So that is that decided. Are we going to get a surprise? Personal best for Hamilton, Leclerc and Sainz in the first sector and the second sector as well for Carlos, who goes 5th on a 109.5. The first run matters, as Karun Chandler says rather excitedly over the Sky commentary here. The first lap, I thought Ferrari was round. I don't know why. I think it was the way I turned my head there with my glasses on. I was like, oh no, it's happened. 109.3 for Leclerc. Verstappen starting his run now. Hamilton, personal best to the line he comes. 24.5 in the middle sector. He doesn't out-qualify Leclerc. Half a tenth between them. Hamilton just seemed to have the edge over him this weekend, and it's not happened. He was first to take the flag, though. So that is it. Set 3 is dead, says John T. Verstappen, 23.6. He's not quick enough in that first sector at all. 3 tenths down overall. Russell as well, 4 tenths down on Piastri. It is between Verstappen and Russell for P3 now. Lawson goes 7th. Hadjar's improving, so keep an eye on him. Alonso as well. What's Alonso doing? Oh, Alonso only 9th. Damn him. Russell... He stays 4th. Yeah, no, John T might be right here. Verstappen's on a purple middle sector, but he is a couple of tenths down overall, so he's going to have to. If this sector's dead, nothing happens. But if Hadjar goes 4th, here goes Max Verstappen. He stays 3rd. I was tense then. 2.5 tenths off Norris. Basically the same off pole. Not bad at all for Max Verstappen there, but Isaac Hadjar. Stand up and take a bow. P4, 3 tenths off Verstappen, half a tenth off pole position. Sorry, half a second off pole position. Wow, what a lap from Isaac Hadjar. We do all love Hadjar. There you go. Yellow flags in turn 14. I see that's just slowing cars and gravel and anything. I don't know. There you go. Doesn't matter that it's over. So, yeah. Oscar Piastri on pole position, which means I was wrong on my predictions again. Piastri P1 108.662. Lando Norris in P2. Max Verstappen P3. We'll run through the full order in just a moment. But yeah, great stuff there from Oscar Piastri. If you are disappearing, I know some of you will disappear. Because you have lives. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be live for a little bit yet. A good half an hour, I'd say, yet. We'll run through the order. We'll do some predictions. We'll take some questions. We'll talk about tomorrow. We'll look at the weather and all of that. But if you are going, thank you very much for your support this afternoon. Appreciate the company. Please do drop a like before you go, though. That'd be massively appreciated. We're getting towards 100, but I think it feels unlikely. But yes, please do drop a like and subscribe as well if you're new. Live tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. BST for the race watch-along. So there we go. But yeah, we will run through the order in just a sec. I'm staying live just to confirm. I'm not going anywhere just yet. But yeah, no, I tell you what, actually, my initial reaction to that is, where the hell did Piastri come from? To snatch pole. He does that though, doesn't he? Norris quickest has him in his pocket all weekend, and Piastri goes, nah, mate, this one's mine. I think Max can be very happy with P3, and actually, dare I say, only a quarter of a second off the McLarens, based on how the weekend was going up to this point. Not actually terrible. But Isaac Hadjar, star of the day in 4th. But I've got to say, very happy with Ferrari. 6th and 7th, given where they were on Friday. I'm happy with that. And that makes me sick, to be perfectly honest with you. But there we go. There we go. Hype jar, says John T. Yes. I'm going to have a very quick drink, so you can time my pit stop. I'll be about 15 seconds. Then we'll come back, do the order, and then we'll do lots of waffle and questions and stuff. So bear with me for just 15 seconds. You can count them. There we go. I get that you can count them thing from Jeff Stelling, by the way, on Soccer Saturday. Back in 2 minutes, you can count them. I don't know why. Right then. Oscar Piastri is on pole position for the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix, despite the fact Lando Norris appeared to be dominating the weekend. Oscar Piastri delivering the lap again when it was needed most. So great stuff for him, actually getting pole on his first lap. Neither McLaren driver improving on their second runs. Norris 12 thousandths behind in second place, with Max Verstappen third. Again, I think given how the weekend was looking up until this point, probably quite content with that. Happy, maybe not, but content. Isaac Hadjar will be thrilled to bits, as we all are, with P4. What a lap right at the end there to get within 0.3 of Max Verstappen. I will say far closer than Yuki Tsunoda, but in an easier car to drive. So throw that caveat in there. Why not? Half a second off the fastest time. George Russell, only P5. Maybe that's a bit of a harsh word to throw in there, but I thought George was in a fight for P3 today. Half a tenth behind Isaac Hadjar. Ferrari, based on where they were on Friday, I've got to be pleased with that, 6th and 7th, but that's not where Ferrari want to be, of course, but not all bad. Leclerc out-qualifying Hamilton, despite the fact Hamilton appeared to have the edge today, but it's not really worked out that way. Not much between them, half a tenth. Liam Lawson in 8th place. Actually, mistake on his first run cost him that lap, so maybe a bit of pressure on that second run, maybe left a bit on the table, but he's looked good this weekend again, so hopefully points tomorrow. But 8th place when your teammate's 4th, maybe don't feel quite so great, but I don't think terrible. 9th for Carlos Sainz, and Fernando Alonso in 10th place. Aston Martin at times this weekend looked right up there. Even talk on Sky and even on this stream of them challenging for a top 3 and maybe even challenging the McLarens. 10th place, bit disappointing actually. Antonelli in 11th, he was knocked out in Q2. Tsunoda only 12th. Bortoletto matched Tsunoda's time exactly, a 109.622, but he set his second, so he is 13th. Gasly 14th, Albon in 15th. Not happy over team radio at all, asking the question, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Franco Colapinto 16th, Nico Hulkenberg 17th, Esteban Ocon 18th, Ollie Bearman 19th, and Lance Stroll is plumb last, having crashed at turn 13 right at the start of the session. No need for a red flag for that, because he managed to get it back to the pits, but it was a hefty enough whack to do enough damage that they couldn't get him back out again. So that is your grid for tomorrow. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen heading into turn 1 could be quite a bit of fun. And Hadjar, not a lot to lose there, so go for it, lad. Why not? So there we go. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I imagine Annette's quite happy. I've not seen her yet in chat. I imagine she's quite happy that he got pole position today. I'd be surprised if she wasn't, actually, to be fair. But yeah, pretty happy with that one for Piastri. Very happy to see Ferrari not out in Q2. And I think that's quite a tasty front row. Of course, don't forget Piastri, 9 points clear in the Drivers' Championship. So that's a big boost for him there to maybe cling on to his lead. Tough track to overtake on, I will say. So it's going to be, it could be an interesting fight tomorrow. But Piastri, obviously, I mean, pole sitter always goes into the weekend as a favourite, or into the race as the favourite, don't they? But you know what I mean. It's difficult to overtake, so probably the outright favourite tomorrow. But never rule out Norris. And of course, if those two get a bit too involved in scrapping a bit of contact, or the team mess up strategy, we'll see. Maybe Verstappen can sneak in and win it, but that would be quite a surprise tomorrow. But yeah, pleased to see Max up there. So yeah. Questions, comments, we'll do predictions shortly. Ideally questions relating to qualifying the race tomorrow, but I'll pretty much, within reason, as you know, answer anything. I'll just check the I have to add the within reason in there, otherwise we're gonna have another yogurt stream, aren't we? So that's going back a few years, isn't it? RC, you might remember that one. A few of you might remember the yogurt stream, the famous yogurt stream from 2017, 18, somewhere around there. So the things you remember. Anyway, circuit Zandvoort weather, we'll start with that one. And we'll then have a look at what else is going on. So tomorrow, temperatures for the race, which is 2 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. local time, 20 degrees and a 20% chance of rain at the moment, according to the old Google thing. FIA, though, might have a different opinion. I mean, they tend to on everything, don't they, to what everyone else says. So who knows? If it's going to let me in, you're going to let me in. You're thinking about it? There we go. Let's have a look. So race tomorrow, we want, don't we? Why would I want the forecast for the race in 2022? That is interesting. Why not? Yeah, about a 20% chance apparently for the session tomorrow. So things have definitely moved. I mean, earlier in the week it was almost a guarantee we were going to see rain this weekend at some point. I suppose we have actually technically, but I mean in a session it was pretty much guaranteed, but it's not really happened. So if the forecast is saying no rain or a very slim chance of rain, then it probably will chuck it down. So let's do opposites and just hope. Just hope. We've got... I don't know, are we battling over the top fans thing, by the way? Kaori number 1, again. Sighted Canvas number 2, Kevin number 3. I don't know how you earn your XP, but John T's dad, you're all tied on 150 XP, so I don't know how it's deciding on that one. So there you go. Sad Mariners fan who's not from Grimsby. If he was, he'd be happy Mariners fan after Wednesday. Says Hadjar is going to be dragged kicking and screaming into that Red Bull over the off season. Yeah. I'll say it again. I said it twice over the summer break in 2 different videos. Would prefer him to get another season rather than rushed in there, but Red Bull's options are limited. The Alex Palou stuff is nothing, as cool as that might be. But yeah, Red Bull sources have been quite clear on that it's not happening. And then, as said in the preview, Alex's manager told us that there's been no conversation with anybody in F1 about Alex Palou joining. So I get it. You know, nothing is confirmed until it's officially denied and all that in Formula One, but that it was a flat out no. So yeah, it would be cool. But yeah. Tom says, it'd be reet. McLaren weekend. I'm off to British Touring Car tomorrow. Have a good one. Have a good one, Tom. Hope you're all right, mate. I tried to read that how you've written it. Me sen, I'm off to BTCC in tomorrow. Have a good one. There you go. I want someone to interview Palou, ask him, and him say, I'd rather have a Racing Bull seat, lol. Yeah. Or I'd rather have a pineapple violently inserted into my rectum. John will get that reference. Some of you might as well. When will Red Bulls give this kid Max a chance in the Racing Bulls car? Exactly. You know, it's been far too long. It's overdue. They talked about Sky yesterday, the idea of Max hopping into the Racing Bulls for an FP1 session. I see you banging this drum quite a bit at the moment, but it's certainly a thing that isn't going to happen, but would be quite fun to see happen. Just, I'm not sure what you gain from that. I mean, if Max Verstappen hopped in that Racing Bulls and topped the session by 0.3 of a second, what does that say about Red Bull? You know? Yeah. We are bored of Racing Bulls dominance. It's absolutely correct. Sean, the ironic part is they probably have too many options, says Kaori. I mean, I liked a theory that was fun. I think it was Oliver over on PF1 who made this point. May have been Henry. I can't remember who it was now, but it's essentially saying if we can't have Verstappen and Russell at Mercedes, why not Verstappen and Russell at Red Bull? You know, Russell is still officially available next season. He is going to sign for Mercedes, so it is pure speculation. But, you know, he is available. Red Bull may need a second driver or someone to race alongside Max Verstappen. Why not? Yeah, no. It'd be good. It'd be good. It's not a pineapple, it's a flamboyant potato. Max trying hard to get that promotion to Racing Bulls. Kaori says, boom. There you go. Arvid Lindblad. I've got Lindblad. I think, look, I said it, I won't get into it again. Summer break. If I was in their position, I'd stick with Tsunoda just for the first half of next season. New car, new everything. See if he can handle that and adapt to that better. Bit more support from Lauren McKees than perhaps Horner was giving him. I don't really know how that worked with Horner in the end. There wasn't a lot of time together, was there? But see how he gets on, then give Hadjar half a season, then make the switch if you need to. But I still get the feeling we're going to see Hadjar at Red Bull and Lindblad at Racing Bulls alongside Liam Lawson, and then goodbye to Yuki Tsunoda, probably to Aston Martin as reserve for a year or two. What would hurt you more, Ferrari exiting the sport for a bit like Renault, or Man United being relegated? Oh, Man United being relegated. Oh, that was the noise. Man United relegated is my gut reaction to that, but also if it meant that we got rid of the ownership because of being relegated, then maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing, but it would be, that would be a stay in bed for a couple of days kind of thing. To go from the joys of jumping around the living room in 99 with the old Solskjaer has won it, with my dad jumping around celebrating, to that would be quite painful, but hey, big clubs have gone down before. Certainly Man United being relegated is more likely than Ferrari leaving F1. Ferrari is F1 and F1 is Ferrari. I maintain that. A lot of people disagree with me on that, but that's how I view Ferrari. Plus, I'd just be devastated if we lost either of them, frankly. But thank you for the super chat, by the way, Nick. I don't know if I said thank you for the super chat. I did read your super chat, but thank you for the super chat, Nick. Appreciate that, mate. As always, he's now gone to P1 with 400 XP. Is that what $5 buys you? 400 XP? God. Where's Charles Edward Cheese when you need him? Yeah, I'd take that, Jonty, 100%. I would. I'm going to avoid the football talk now. No disrespect to anybody. I get moaned at a lot when I talk about football because it's an F1 channel. I think I just need to set up something somewhere, like on Twitch, called Formula Sean or something, where I predominantly talk about F1, but I can also talk shit about football like I do. So that covers me a little bit there, but you never know. Mert needs to leave this lineup alone, says Kaori. I think they will. I don't see any changes at Mercedes for next year. I mean, playing devil's advocate, if they did make a change, because you would assume if they were making a change, it would be Antonelli, who goes there? That's the problem as well. They haven't exactly got a ton of options, have they, for looking at who's available next year for that second seat, but I would, yeah. I'd be surprised if there's any changes, so yeah. Sean Yellow One. I like that. A bit like Marbula One. Is that still going, the old marble racing? I don't know. Nick, maybe F1 and F2 should have promotion and relegation. Trying to think how that would work. It'd be cool, but I can't see logistically that working. Stranger things have been done before. We're just watching Piastri's qualifying lap here, which was his first lap, of course, in Q3. So looking very tight. I mean, that McLaren just looks on rails, doesn't it? I really do think they've gone all out for this season, knowing that next year is going to be a bit of a lottery. Bank yourself a championship, drivers' championship, and then if you are off the pace next year, it doesn't matter initially because you've got the title in the bag. But it doesn't feel quite the same as 2013, well, a little bit like 2013, where everyone sort of abandoned their cars because McLaren had got it in the bag this time, Red Bull at the time with Vettel, and then put all their focus on 2014. I hope it's not quite like that for McLaren, but they're going to have to keep working on the car because they've got two drivers going for a title, haven't they? So it's a little bit different there, but you can't take your eyes off next year too much. But how do you manage that? I mean, I'm thinking back as well to 2008. A lot of people at the time, and maybe subsequently, felt like the battle for the Drivers' Championship between McLaren and Ferrari is why McLaren and Ferrari went into 2009 on the back foot, because they'd had to keep developing and keep pushing to win that title, whereas other teams would go, right, like, you know, Honda, Brawn, right, we're done, let's focus on next year. Yeah. Just make it multi-class like WEC, F1, F2 and F3 all at once. Imagine the chaos Cordial could cause. I'm still hurt by the performance my team had against Leicester last night. You can guess which team I support. Absolute chaos, says Kaori. I might have missed part of the conversation there. But Sean, Ferrari threatens to leave F1 once every 5 to 10 years. Surely they're going to leave eventually. No. It's the teams like Red Bull, you can take the threats somewhat seriously, but I still wouldn't take that completely seriously. A team like Ferrari threatens it, just laugh them out the door, and it's fine. It's Piastri on pole. Ankit. Piastri on pole position for tomorrow's race. So he won qualifying today. Norris second, Verstappen third, Hadjar fourth, and Russell in P5. If you've got a favourite driver and you want to know where they are, let us know and we'll try and spot your comment and I'll let you know there. But yeah, it is Piastri on pole. 2 Ps. Piastri pole. Stroll is the perfect number 2. I still think Max goes to Aston, says CPB. I don't know. Could be Mercedes for 27. See what happens. Not tomorrow. Sorry, I'm trying to think of 2 things at once. I'm trying to look for something and I'm trying to see what happens with the cars that start next season. That's not tomorrow. That's January. So yeah. No team pulls out now with the budget cap and guaranteed TV income, says Nick. Yeah, what was reportedly Otmar Safnauer offered 1.2 billion for Alpine, and they said no. They think they're worth more than that. They're not interested. So you wouldn't, because getting you back in is going to be very, very expensive, isn't it? So yeah. McLaren have basically already won the title. Neither Ferrari or Red Bull can catch both on the podium. Even if McLaren don't win another race, it's just a matter of how many rounds it takes. Oh yeah, definitely, Louis. They'll still need to be working to a point in the car though, because of the battle between the 2 drivers. They've got to let them battle it out. So they need to make sure everything's sort of controlled. So it's different to if Verstappen was breathing down their necks in the championship. But I still think go all out for this year, get it done. Because next year is a lottery. We'll talk about Mercedes, but there's a big reset on the aero side as well. It's not as. And I was thinking about this over the summer break actually. I didn't look at F1, but I thought about it. Mercedes might have the advantage on the engine front that everyone's talking about, but don't forget that actually, when you go back and look at 2014, that was a whole new everything. These teams have been building hybrid engines now for 11 years. So it's the engine isn't going to be as dominant next year as perhaps it would have been in 2014. But you've also got the aero regs as well. So if the jump that Mercedes make is significant but not as big as it was in 2014, and somebody like a Red Bull or an Aston can make the difference with the aero, it might still be very tight next year. McLaren might be in that mix, but I still think you want to be a manufacturer team or with a works deal going into next year, given that the car and the power unit can kind of be built together, integrated nicely, rather than having to fit it in. Not to the extent that Braun had to fit it in 2009 with that Mercedes. That was a cut and shut, wasn't it? That was a bodge job. They did all right with this. That was fair. Ferrari will never leave. Remember the whole kart thing in the mid-80s? Developed and tested IndyCar just for a hissy fit about keeping V12s, as John T. Don't forget as well, Ferrari also backed out of a race in, was it the first season of F1 over money? So they've been doing it from day one. So, pretty much. Keep an eye on Alpine. Merc engine is a great chassis. Any chance Ferrari will build a V12 and Ford a V8 engine next year? That'd be cool. No penalty, mate. I'm guessing there's something going on in football that I've not missed. So yeah, it was the first race. Yeah, they had a moan, didn't they? And they wanted money, and it was like no. Yeah, I can't watch the football because I live in the UK, so I don't get to watch without dodgy means. I don't get to watch my team play every weekend. However, if I lived in Canada, I probably could. But that's the way of the world. It's a bit like the NBA League Pass. I was looking at that last night again, see what price that's at for this season. But in the UK, there are no blackouts, but there are in the US. And I get that it's to do with, there's lots of reasons behind it in football, isn't there? And it's, I guess, the same in basketball. But it just seems a bit ridiculous that you can't watch your own sport and your own team in your own country every week. But there you go. Jules looks like he could slip onto the podium, says Eddie. Well, I mean, insert Russell does nothing P3 meme here, I suppose. But I don't expect Hadjar to be challenging for a podium tomorrow. I think your battle for P3 is going to be Verstappen, Russell, and hopefully a Ferrari would be nice, Leclerc or Hamilton. But I think Verstappen, Russell for P3 tomorrow is the fight. It's very difficult when you see Verstappen P3 to completely rule him out a challenge for the win, isn't it? Because he can. If anyone, remember what we said earlier, if anyone can, Max Verstappen can. I'm turning into Crofty. NordVPN question mark says Kaori. Yeah, I need to get a... So any recommendations, greatly appreciated. I need to get a router that supports, because my router doesn't support a VPN, so I need to get one that does. But I've been... It's one of those things I've been looking at now for about 3 weeks, but I don't really get it, and it's a bit complicated. And you look at reviews. One review says this is the best one ever, and the next review says it's terrible. So, yeah. Annoying. So any recommendations greatly appreciated, because that would be money well spent, I feel. But yeah. Never forget there were 20 Premier League matches that were literally impossible to watch legally in the UK in 2021, says Johnson. Yeah, I'll tell you what as well. We're back on football, I'm so sorry, but 2021, don't forget as well, was that the year, or was it 2020, where they started charging £15 a game if you wanted to watch a game, because they had no gate revenue and they were trying to make money, and sod off. There's people speculating that Toto Wolff could be sacked if Mercedes don't perform next year. I don't think they realise how much clout he has compared to Horner. 2 things on that. You're right on the Horner thing. He's definitely got more clout there. No, 3 things. Secondly, are you going to sack the guy who owns a third of a team? And thirdly, he's not going to sack himself, is he? And thirdly, if he's not been sacked based on their 22, 23, less so 24 performance, then he's not going to get sacked on 26, is he? So it's, yeah. If Toto Wolff was ever going to get sacked, a third owner of the team, or an owner of the third of the team, it would have been after 22, 23. Not that, yeah. Not just that, says Sam. Not just that you can't watch, you pay a hell of a lot more not to watch. Exactly, yeah. Capitalism, I guess. But how many attempts Max did in his qualifying? That was his second. So that's 2 laps for Max. Fastest on his... I think he was quicker on his first run, wasn't he? Max Verstappen, or was he quicker on his second run? Piastri was quickest on his first run. Norris quicker on his first run. Did Verstappen? He must have improved later on in that second run. Must have been. Yeah, but still, third place. I mean, like I said it when I went through the run-through of the order there. When you go back to how the weekend was looking for Red Bull, I don't think third is bad today. Max is not going to be happy with third, but I think he'll be content with third. So, pay-per-view is a dying concept. I wish streaming services are a dying concept at CPB. I've gone from paying me TV license and me Sky to paying for about 407 different apps just so I can watch 6 things, which I know the math ain't mathing there, but that's fine. BMW might make a comeback in F1. I see Merc are going to have a partnership with BMW of the 4-cylinder engines. Imagine that happens to Society Canvas. BMW would like back. I would love, I've said this so many times, so if I'm repeating myself to people who are long-term viewers, I apologise, but I would love an equivalent to a Cosworth coming back, an independent engine supplier who just sells engines to teams. So like a Williams could take whatever that equivalent to a Cosworth would be, but Cosworth I just supply the engine. They're not like a works deal, rather than having so many teams powered by the big manufacturers, because it just gives the big manufacturers, Mercedes, Ferrari, I guess you throw Red Bull in there now, it gives them more sway when it comes to voting and control and things like that. So having an independent Cosworth style manufacturer in, ideally Cosworth, because that's a great name, would be epic. But I don't know, I'm sure Jonty will know, or somebody will know in chat, do Cosworth do anything hybrid these days, or are they all still very old school with their, if they still exist? I'm sure they still exist. I saw them on something the other day. What were they on the other day? iRacing. So the name exists somewhere. But yeah, BMW would be cool if they bring back the 2000 Williams livery, because I loved that thing. But yeah, Mecha Chrome intensifies. Yeah. No thanks. No thanks. No hybrids from Cosworth. Thank you, Louis. I didn't think so. I think we had the conversation before on Cosworth, but if we went back down the V8, V10 route, more likely V8, I think, than 10, but maybe they could. But it'd be quite cool. It'd be a cheaper way for a team like Williams to buy an engine as well. So I don't know why I'm using Williams as an example, but they quite like their Mercedes partnership. Haas like their Ferrari partnership, but you get what I'm getting at, you know. But Cosy engines should make a return too, says Cited Canvas. We've talked about the BMW there. Would like to see them back. TV blackouts the opposite of capitalism, says Nick. I suppose they are actually, yeah. Because you could charge more, couldn't you? No, that's a good point. Not so much the blackouts. It was the the fact they charge you more for not being able to watch felt very capitalism. But at the same time, I understand your point. That could be opposite or could be seen as opposite because you could charge more if you could watch them all, couldn't you? So, why don't Dallara make F1 engines? I didn't know Dallara were an engine manufacturer. Honestly, I know they do. They still involve a Haas's chassis, maybe not so much, but Cosworth make engines for Gordon Murray's cars. That's cool. Is it Dallara says I am here for Jay. With the power unit price fixed, I can't see the independent suppliers coming on board. That's a fair point as well, actually, Louis. Yeah, the budget cap on that one as well. We all know my views on the budget cap. Let's not get into that one, but it would just be nice to have an independent supplier and to give teams an option rather than having to get into bed with a big manufacturer. But then if you get into bed with a big manufacturer, then you've got gearboxes, technical support, potentially young drivers to come in and work with you. So I suppose, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Just a thought. They do build power units. There you go. Awesome. I know they do chassis at Dallara, but I wasn't sure if they do engines as well. That'd be quite cool. The more the merrier, just not Mechachrome. Any more questions? We'll do predictions in a sec. But any more questions before we get onto that one? CPB says Pirelli and Bridgestone. I hear Lotus is also making a comeback. It says Sighted Canvas. To F1, that'd be nice. I guess you mean road cars and such, but yeah, would be nice to see. But yeah, I don't know. Look, back to the racing. No more football. No more hypotheticals about V8s and V10s and how badly this old man wants them back because, roasted spectacles and all that. It just was better. I don't care if that gets some people upset. It just was. People that tell me noise doesn't matter in motorsport, I'm never going to agree with them. I will always respect their opinion, but I'll never agree with it. It does matter. It's a big part of the emotion and the passion and the feeling of it. So anyway, looking forward to tomorrow. I think we've got a good grid. I think it is going to be Piastri versus Norris for the win, but if they start getting a bit, argy-bargy is the phrase I'm going to go with, then actually that might open the door for Verstappen. Don't forget as well, safety cars and things, they're going to be in a compromised position, McLaren, tomorrow, because you might have to double stack if you get a safety car, or one driver might get screwed over, probably Piastri. If they get a safety car, then I'll annoy somebody. But yeah, that might open the door for Verstappen. I think we've got a couple of cars. I'm adamant Alonso's out of position down there in P10, so I think he's going to be fun to watch tomorrow. Hopeful there's more pace in the Ferrari, so they might give us something in that battle, and I'm expecting Hadjar to be the lead car in some sort of trolley train tomorrow, but hopefully not. I'd love to see Hadjar battle for a podium, but he might need a little bit of luck. You never know. I'm looking forward to it. I will say as well, it will be interesting to see what Lance Stroll could do from 20th, because that Aston Martin is, as we know, quicker than that. I'm really intrigued to see what he could do, because this kind of race, if it's dry tomorrow, Pirelli have made changes because they've gone with softer tyres this week because they want to encourage a two-stopper. Aston Martin, hard tyres on Lance Stroll, running long. We've seen that so many times. He might be in the mix for a sneaky point come the end of tomorrow, so I'm quite intrigued by that one. But yeah. Anyway, let's do predictions then, if we've got no more questions. Lots of stuff there. We are also only, by the way, 21 away from 100 likes. If you haven't liked already, please do drop a like. It doesn't matter, I get that, and it doesn't do much for me, but it helps channeling the algorithm, so please do drop a like and get that to 100. That would be amazing. But predictions for tomorrow then. What is your top 3 for tomorrow's Dutch Grand Prix? That rhymed. Love it. That's the catchphrase. My predictions, what did I say on Thursday? I think I went Piastri, Norris and Leclerc. Let me check. I went Piastri, Norris and Leclerc. So based on how predictions have gone this year, it'll be Norris, Piastri and Russell, or something like that. But I will stick with Piastri for the win. I think tough to overtake around here. Not impossible, but tough to overtake. He's got the advantage of the clear air. In theory, if we get any safety cars, he should get the first call on those and strategy as well. So I think he looks good for tomorrow. I don't, as much as I want Verstappen up there for the win, or at least taking a better position in P3, I don't see anybody stopping McLaren tomorrow without rain or chaos or drama or some kind of McLaren cock-up. So I think Piastri Norris is the top 2. My head says Verstappen P3, as boring as that might seem, because that's the top 3 we've got. My heart is saying Hadjar does something incredible and takes P3. So, do you know what? First race back from the summer break, I'll let my heart rub ahead for a change. And I'll go with Hadjar for P3. I don't believe it, but it would just be an amazing story. So Piastri, Norris, Hadjar, with the caveat that it's probably going to be Verstappen or Russell in that one. But it would be, I'm hoping it's a bit more mixed up than that, because that is just going to be another qualifying top 3 finishes, top 3 prediction, which kind of sucks. But on tracks like this, Monza's different. You can pass at Monza. You've got that long straight, that long DRS, so there are options there. I know we've got quite a long zone, 14 through to 1, but it's still tight and it's tricky. So yeah, I think Hadjar improved in his second run. Leclerc and Hamilton did, but they just used tyres, Neelish, so that's why they would have improved. Lawson did, but I think he cocked up his first run. Alonso did. So I think it was only the McLarens and possibly Verstappen who didn't. Oh, Russell might not have as well, actually. But yeah, those final runs, those second runs were not what we expected. So bit of a surprise, actually. Right, let's do your predictions then. I think John T... No, it was Louis got in there first, actually, today. Or Louis. Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, top 3. John T has gone with Piastri, Verstappen and Hadjar. So what's happened to Norris, John T? I'm intrigued. What are you predicting for Norris tomorrow? Let me know. Hadjar, Stroll and Colapinto, my spiteful podium. Says you say spiteful, I say incredible. If we get a race that gives us that top 3, yes, please. That's one I'm rewatching 3 times Sunday evening. That'd be cracking. Piastri to win tomorrow over Russell second and Leclerc third, says Platalobium. CPB says Max win, George second, Alonso third. Kaori's gone with Piastri, Norris and Hadjar. Nick says McLaren, someone. Fair enough. Probably about right, yeah. The Richter scale is going out of control. We do some mayhem, apparently, because CPB. Great mind, Sean, says Kaori. Piastri, Norris, Verstappen for Nilesh. I nearly read that as one word. Pianova. There you go. Sad trumpet mini violin, though. He should have had a better position after a good Friday, says Kaori. We'll be interested to see how well Kimi can work his way through the pack. That's a good point. Yeah, Kimi 11th. So, yeah. Platalobi says opening lap could be chaotic and very likely decisive. Piastri, let's go. McLaren Forever says, is it Joa or Yoa? Both McLarens qualified for plankware. Verstappen wins, says Phil. Oh, some post-race drama for Phil. I like that, Phil. You can come again. Very happy with that. That could be interesting. That's well, I say that means that I'm waiting for Thomas's video all night, doesn't it, to be edited? So maybe not then, actually. Yeah, because these stewards ain't quick with these things generally, are they? And then there's appeals and all that. So yeah, good stuff. Alan Permain looks very happy with P4 for Hadjar. I imagine he is. Zach Brown needs someone to massage his heart for tomorrow. Yeah, wouldn't want to be in Zach Brown's position. That's not going to be fun, is it? Hadjar was cooking. Hope he does have a good race, or does as good in the race. Yeah. Like I say, the pessimist in me, my head says that Hadjar will end up being the leader of a trolley train and sort of the cork in the bottle, if you don't know what a trolley train is, but a cork in the bottle tomorrow. And people struggle to pass him, but my heart would love to see him have an absolutely incredible race and nick a podium, but we'll see. If McLaren get disqualified for plankware, Ferrari will too, says John T. Good point. Cheering on Piastri here as an Aussie, says Platalobium. And one more. I did see one. It's disappeared. Where have you gone? I don't know. Nino says very impressive fourth for Hadjar. Sad trumpet for Alonso. Probably already read that one, but there we go. Yeah. I hope he doesn't end up as a train. It would be nice to see him challenging, but I just think that final podium spot, if it's a standard race, no great drama, no rain, Verstappen versus Russell for P3, but it is tough to pass on. So if Hadjar's got a chance, then maybe here is that chance. Yeah, Hadjar will drive the DRS bendy bus. There you go. Science Cam says, could Lando do the ultimate bottle job and take him and Piastri out of the first corner? I doubt it, but that favours Piastri, doesn't it, in the championship because of the 9-point gap. But hoping for chaos tomorrow. Maybe Hadjar could win, says Freddie. If it's chaotic, he's got a shot. The thing is, very quickly, Hadjar's put himself in the position to capitalise on anything that happens ahead, hasn't he? If you qualify 4th or 5th or somewhere around there and things do happen ahead, you've got yourself in the spot to be the first, to have first refusal, if you like, of snatching that podium or that win. So he's done everything he needed to today. And actually, I know 2.5 tenths in motorsport is quite a big gap, but for a Racing Bulls, or sorry, nearly 3 tenths, a Racing Bulls to a Red Bull driven by Max Verstappen, that's really impressive. It's not just the fact he's 4th, it's how much closer he was to Verstappen than that second Red Bull is, for example. So Phil Collins playing in the background. David Cross has a stroke, says CVV. Sainz did pretty well today. Hopefully starting to come back for him. And anywhere in the top 6 is good for Sainz canvas there for Hadjar. One more comment. Nilesh can have this one. Maybe Russell will get past on lap 1 and threaten Verstappen if the track is cold. Yeah, tyre choice before the race will be really interesting. So there you go. We're going to leave it there. I did say half an hour and we've done 39 minutes. So welcome to the F1 word. If you knew, that is kind of what I do. I'll say 10 minutes, will be live 3 hours later. So as Jonty will say, an F1 word hour is any period of time that is anything but exactly 1 hour. So there you go. But yes, I am back tomorrow with the race watching on 1:30 p.m. BST, same time as today. We'll be live for the whole race, of course. We'll talk through that, same as this. We'll have the track map, the timing, and we'll talk about what's going on. I'll try and do my terrible B-Tech Crofty impression, and then we'll see how we get on. And then, of course, we'll be live after. We'll continue to stay live afterwards for a bit of reaction, and we'll talk about what's gone on. And then, of course, Thomas will be with you on Monday with a video. It'll either be a wrap or it'll be a video about the big talking point from the race on Sunday. And then, of course, I'm back with the preview on Thursday for Monza, because it's Monza next. Back-to-back races to kick off the post-summer break madness, if you like. Let's hope for some chaos, some fun tomorrow. Why not? Please do drop a like before you go. 9 away from 100 likes. So RC, go make 9 burner accounts, mate. Crack on. I'm joking. Don't do burner accounts if you can. You can avoid it. But yeah, please do drop a like so we can get to that 100. And subscribe if you're new as well. Lots to come, like I say, over the rest of this weekend and indeed for the rest of this season. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.